Oh, God.
What is up, you beautiful bastards? I am your host, Cody Newberry. Welcome to a very special 50th episode of Late Night with Take 3. I am not Brooklyn Vale whatsoever. I am the Red Sox-loving, musician-hating Cody New Hope. Yeah, New Hope Newberry. Very special 50th episode, Halloween-themed here. As you can see, we are dressed up. Or sorry, they are dressed up. I am in my true form. But I have to introduce our panel today. First off, Cody Newberry as well. Cody Newberry, how are we doing?
Listen, you stupid Canadian. I hate whatever you like. It sucks. It's so bad. I am not Sandy the Sandman Robinson. I am the real Cody Newberry, and I hate everything except what I think. So happy to be here. Let's get on with the show. Quit screwing around, Canadian.
All right. Joining us as well today, he is the producer, the man behind the scenes, Peter Jackson. Peter Jackson, how are we doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Just came back from directing Lord of the Rings and stuff. I'm coming out of a new trilogy, but yeah, fighting it. But yeah.
All right. Joining us as well today, very, very surprised for the 14th interpretation, Doctor Who. Doctor, how are we doing?
I was not prepared with an accent. I almost tried to do an improv. But I'm feeling good. This is going to be great. Alon Z.
All right. As well today, longtime Take 3 member, Han Solo. Han, how are we doing today?
I'm not Han Solo. Gosh darn it, Cody. But I am Delta Force, Master Sergeant White Logan. I'm here to make sure that Garcia Flynn doesn't try to take over Take 3 at all on the Cancel Too Soon show, Timeless.
Joining us as well today, our special guest, taking a lot of time on his schedule. I know he's had a lot of movie deals. Jason Voorhees is joining us today. Jason, how are you doing today?
And then Mark Riley jumps in as Mrs. Voorhees.
All jokes aside, though, we do have the movie trivia Schmoedown singles champion in the world. He is the beast, William Bibbiani. Yeah. How are we doing? How are we doing, Mr. Bibbs, or his business?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me on the show. You guys are always awesome, and it's an honor to be here. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. So for those of you who are new to the show, what we normally do to start off is we do a warm-up game, something like Shenanigans or 7 degrees or 6 degrees of separation. We're going to play Shenanigans. So I'm taking off this beard. I'm sorry. I can't.
Wait, who are you? Cody, what happened?
This has Rittenhouse written all over it.
This is a smart Cody. Cody would shave. Cody would shave and actually look nice. I apologize to anybody who has beards. It is a talent. I cannot grow a beard. Hence why I had the thing on. So how Shenanigans is going to work is I will start. I will name either a movie, an actor, or an actress. Then the person next to me, so we'll say Malcolm, will have to name. So say if I say Jim Carrey, Malcolm has to name a movie starring Jim Carrey. Or if I say a movie, The Mask, then Malcolm has to name an actor or an actress in The Mask, so we can say Cameron Diaz. Then it moves on from there. Sandy will have to name either the opposite, Caleb, and then Kearns, and then Bibbs, and so on and so forth. Where the Shenanigans part comes in is, say if I tell Malcolm, I give Malcolm the movie The Big Lebowski. And he thinks, you know what? I don't think Brooklyn knows a single actor in The Big Lebowski, so he can call Shenanigans. If I am able to name an actor in The Big Lebowski, which I hope I could, then Malcolm is eliminated. If I can't name another actor, then I am eliminated. If you cannot name a movie, an actor, an actress straight up, you are eliminated. And then what happens is once a person is eliminated, the next person in line will get to start fresh. So the order is going to be just the way that I see it on my screen. So it'll be myself asking Malcolm, then asking Sandy, then they're asking Caleb, and then Kearns, and then Bibbs will be asking me to complete the full circle.
Two quick questions from someone who hasn't played this with you guys.
Absolutely.
One, I assume there's no repeat, so you can't say Robert De Niro and then 5 people down the line you can't say Robert De Niro. Two,
no.
Are you guys just really big fans of the movie Hideaway? because this game is from Hideaway with Jeff Goldblum.
Oh,
I mean, I think you added the shenanigans bit, but we always used to call it. We got this game from Hideaway back when I played it in the 90s.
Nice.
That's really funny. Okay.
It's a deep
It's not a good
cut.
film. It's a Dean Koontz movie. It barely counts, but it is a thing. Okay.
That's cool.
and we lost Kearns, so we'll fill him in whenever we can. So I'll start off with Malcolm. Malcolm, I'll give you an easy
Get
one.
away.
He did. I'm going to give you Malcolm. I'll give you Remember the Titans.
Denzel Washington.
All right. So Denzel Washington. So I have to name a movie now, right? With Denzel.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Fences.
Viola Davis.
Is it good to me?
Oh no, it'll be Kearns. Kearns next.
My bad.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So it's Fences is my movie.
No, I said
No,
Viola Davis.
Viola Davis.
Oh,
This
you
is your
said
actress.
Viola Davis. Oh, Suicide Squad.
Okay. Adewale Akinoya Agbaje.
Ah, that
Funny.
Was low. That was low.
Yeah. Next. I couldn't. No, I
Good pull.
Shenanigan.
I am mouse. No, I'm not calling shenanigans. I'm not
What
calling.
did we expect? What did we expect from the movie trivia Schmoedown single?
I mean,
Exactly.
he is
Sorry,
a champion for a
you
reason.
said the mean one.
Hey,
Okay.
Brooklyn, I could have pulled one. So,
Wait, can I just
Congratulations.
to see if I'm right? Was that Sling Blade? Was that the actor who played Sling Blade? In the movie?
No,
you're
that was
thinking
the
of
actor who played not Pyro.
Killer
Killer
Croc.
Croc.
Killer Croc.
Darn.
Killer Croc.
All right, so that means Malcolm gets to start fresh.
Sorry, everybody.
Hey, good.
I ruin everything. I ruin every game I ever.
Oh, you're winning it. That's what's good.
I'm going to start off with Temuera Morrison.
Ooh, good one.
Nice.
Who?
Oh my God! Did you just say that, Sandy?
No, I didn't hear him.
Tomorrow.
Temuera Morrison.
So then it goes to Sandy.
Tamara Morrison, if the pronunciation is better like that.
Wow.
That was a good one, though, Malcolm. There's only like one or two that you can pull.
There's
I
a
like
couple actually that I.
Well, there's like a few big ones that I can think off the top of my head, and then the lower you go, it's like, ooh.
You know what? I'm going to call shenanigans on this.
He was Django Fett in Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones.
And he's Abin Sur in Green Lantern.
He was also in Barbed Wire with Pamela Anderson.
Oh my God, you're right. Good pull.
He was.
Good pull. Yeah. Good one.
All right, so then that means that Sandy is eliminated, and that
Heart's
means
broken. One of the best Star Wars villains ever.
That was the one.
Caleb gets to start fresh.
I get to pick. I pick either one, movie actor or
Yeah,
actress.
Yeah. How
Okay.
funny though that both Codys are eliminated right out of the gate.
No, that's
Alright.
not shocking at all.
Well,
Oh,
okay.
Oh.
I'll start nice and easy with No Country for Old Men.
oh, and now that's me.
That's to you.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Is it me? I'm actually going to hazy on the order.
Yeah.
Yep.
it's you.
Yeah.
It's to me. All right. U.S. Marshals.
Ooh, that's a
Back
great.
to Malcolm.
Wesley Snipes.
Nice.
Blade.
Oh, what's this? I know, but character's name is Whistler.
Oh, you know what? I should have went with Blade 2. That's that would have been harder.
If you went with Blade 3, I would know an actor.
Well, Blade 3 is too easy.
Yeah. Oh, man, Blade. I give up.
right,
Should have
that
said
means
Chris
Kearns.
Brown.
Even
Kearns is
more.
eliminated.
He plays Whistler, doesn't he? Yeah,
Chris
Christmas
Christopherson.
Thompson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? Know the character, don't know the actor.
Stephen Dorff is also in there as Deacon Frost.
Yep.
Donald
You gotta
Lowe,
kill him, you know actors.
Tracy Lord. Yeah.
That means
Oh, yeah.
that means Ben gets to start fresh.
All right. Who's left?
Me, you, and Malcolm.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just the three of us. Okay, fine.
This is crunch time.
Finish.
Antonio Banderas.
The Mask of Zorro.
Anthony Hopkins.
Oh,
Meet Joe Black.
Oh,
Brad Pitt.
Yep.
Yes.
oh, good for you.
I had a harder one.
What's a Brad Pitt one that I want to do? Let's see, there's so many. Ocean's 13.
Al Pacino.
The Insider.
This is where I'm gonna go out. Oh shoot! I shouldn't have
Come
picked
on.
13 because I don't know. I don't know
Come
Pacino. Insider. Who's in the Insider?
You can do it.
Sandy, I need you to just send it a little bit harder. I
I'm
can almost.
doing it. I'm sending it to you.
2,
I'm sending it.
Robert De Niro.
1.
Now,
No, you could have.
Christopher Plummer would have been okay. Russell Crowe would have been okay.
Russell Crowe was one I was thinking.
Yeah.
Shoot. Couldn't have said Jack and Jill. Malcolm, come on.
All right, so we're back on Bibbs and Malcolm, but Bibbs gets to start fresh.
Okay, so just the two of us. We're gonna be back and
Yes.
forth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh, fun.
Lincoln.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Looper.
Jeff Daniels.
The Fly.
He was not in The Fly.
Nope.
Oh,
That's Jeff
Thinking
Goldblum.
of Jeff Goldblum. Yeah.
You should have said Dumb and Dumber. You've been okay.
Arachnophobia.
Yeah.
Marson.
That is the question that I lost the Schmoedown to Sam Levine on. Was who
really?
who played the boss in Looper, and it was Jeff Daniels, and I got that wrong. So I thought there was a nice little bit of poetry there.
Nice.
Well,
All
look at
right.
that.
So there's a nice little there's a nice little game of shenanigans. Congratulations to Mr. Bibbiani, of course. You know,
Thank you.
doing the city shit.
I've been playing the Hideaway game for decades.
Yeah. All right. So actually, I can't. I tried again. I tried.
Yeah.
I tried to be a good cosplayer.
If I could rip this
Big
off,
baby.
I would.
Yeah.
You know they have razors, right?
Yeah.
Good.
The good ones are expensive.
I know.
All right, Bibbs.
Might come cheap from Walmart.
So I hear through the grapevines, through the community, that you have to defend your title tomorrow against one John Steven Roca.
Yes.
Now, it's not. It doesn't take those of us in sort of the family community understand that this has already been taped. That there's no way that you just taped it yesterday and went and go like.
Way to ruin the magic, man.
I know. I am the absolute worst.
It's recorded live. It's recorded live.
Brooklyn, next
doing,
time
Brooklyn?
Ryan's doing the
Brooklyn,
live
next time you're going
chat
to
of
tell
our
me that
live
Santa Claus
reaction.
isn't real
Okay.
either.
Okay. Bibbs.
Yeah.
How if you could give us any detail, like leading up to the match in general, how did you prepare?
You know, it's interesting. I talk to a lot of people who compete in the Schmoedown, and a lot of them prepare in different ways. Now, if you're in the Star Wars League, you prepare by watching Star Wars over and over and over and over again. If you're in the Inner Geekdom League, the number of films you actually have to be aware of is actually rather small, at least compared to the singles and team league. So you can study that. You can just, I'm not good at Harry Potter. Kalinowski didn't seem to be good at Harry Potter. He studied Harry Potter. Now he's good at Harry Potter. For the singles league, it's literally every movie ever. And for me, as a film critic and someone who's been studying film pretty hardcore since he was 9, studying for the Schmoedown is basically doing what I do every day anyway. So I don't do a lot of things different. What I have done since I started playing the Schmoedown was paying attention to a few things that I know are on the wheel. For example, the earliest category that ever screwed me was scores and soundtracks, which I felt competent in, but clearly wasn't my expertise. And ever since that happened, I've been paying closer attention to who provides a score for various films. I feel pretty good on soundtracks, bad on scores. So I've been paying closer attention to some spots that I felt like I'm not as great as. I did a cursory brush up on just some of the more famous Westerns, because I know that's one of Roka's strengths. When I went up against Andraco, I took a closer look at some musicals, because I knew that was his strength, and it was probably going to be on the wheel as a result. But beyond that, the thing with me and Roka is that how you play the game is going to matter, and it really matters in a championship match, because you have the betting round and you have the lightning round, and gameplay really, really factors into it. But in a typical game, if you know all the answers, it's hard to lose. So you just have to feel confident in your knowledge, and we both want to just put our knowledge up against each other. All the feuding aside, we just want to put our knowledge up against each other and see who comes out on top. So at this point, it's just I don't want to have to do a ton of extra studying. I just want to go up against them as I am, as I've been studying my whole life, and see how it turns out.
Yeah. All right. I'll open up to the panel here for a little bit. Kearns, I know you had a question here for
okay.
folks.
So this is something I've been wondering since we found out that Roka was going to be playing. In last year's Ultimate Schmoedown singles tournament, there was a bet between you and Mr. Roka. If Roka won, you would have to kiss his boots, and if you beat Roka, you would get his cowboy hat. I'm wondering, is that bet still in place with this title match?
As far as I know, and as far as I'm concerned, yes. We haven't talked about it. We don't really talk. Like, we don't hang out, as you can imagine. I don't know if you saw the morning show. There's blood, and it's not the good blood; it's the bad blood. And but like, we haven't really discussed the parameters. But it's come up. He's yelled at me from afar that he wants me to kiss his boots, and I, of course, have yelled at him that I want that hat. That being said, it is to the winner's discretion. So if Roka puts up a good game and he doesn't call me bad names, I might let him keep the hat. But we'll see. I have purchased googly eyes, and in fact, they're in the other room. I forgot to bring them in, but I do have googly eyes, and I'm going to put them on that hat if I get that hat.
Nice.
That is great.
All right. So my next question for you then is, it's actually dealing towards the Anarchy Team Tournament. Working with Matt Knows has to be a little bit different working with opposed to Whitney, because with Whitney you have this chemistry doing the various podcasts, and Whitney has this very witty sense of humor, and he's very boisterous. Whereas Matt Knows he's very dry. He likes to sort of kill the mood, but it's in a very hilarious way, a la the you're in match with Who's the Boss. What was it like collaborating with Matt for these matches?
I'm not sure what it was like for a lot of people teaming up for Anarchy. I know a lot of people ended up with people that they know or are friends with, even if they don't necessarily work together or have ever played together before. Me and Matt, I've never been in a room with him when the Schmoedown wasn't going on. We've never hung out. I've barely really talked to him in any regard until the Anarchy came together, and we actually had to work together, and we had to come up with a team name and come up with some entrance ideas. And we're both adults, and we both have our lives, and getting on the same page and sharing ideas was he joked about it in our first match together. The Twitter conversation was probably epic and very annoying because I just keep I haven't heard from Matt in 5 days. I should probably check. Hey, if you didn't like those ideas, here are another 10. And just apparently that was overwhelming. Matt is, I'm just going to say it, a good competitor, and he is very, very funny. But he's not my kind of funny. And I think we were able to, over the course of those intros, find, perhaps by accident, a way to make that work and a way to make that a new kind of shtick. I'm not sure there are any other teams in the Anarchy tournament, and I've been watching, where there was quite that much fighting, within the ranks. I think Who's the Boss had a little, but I think we were the ones. I thought it was all going to be like that, and everyone was going to hate each other. Nope, just me and Nost. But we talked. Listen, when it came down to the actual game part of the game, that's where Matt excels. He's not a theatrical guy. He wants to show up and he wants to play. And we talked about how we were going to play. We talked about what wheel slices we were comfortable with, and as in any team, you try to gravitate towards wheel slices you're both comfortable with, as opposed to only one of you. So that part we worked very well together on. But some of the stuff that I particularly enjoy and is not his shebang, that was an odd creative process, and I think it shows.
So my next question is actually about your former, really, why did we let third Cody in here?
What? He shouldn't be here. Oh, that rotten Canadian.
He didn't even bother to dress up. What is this?
No,
he's dressed up as that Avatar from the Unfriended movies.
He does the whole show just audio only.
That's funny.
There he is.
The real Cody Newberry. How are we?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you, Cody?
The two people impersonating me are really terrible. You really need to work on your skills. You couldn't even do a deep voice if you wanted to, but that's okay. I'm really excited to be here with Bibbiani. I like him a lot. I feel bad for him on Friday because I have a different horse in that race. But
yeah,
I see what you did there.
I just got that. I just got that.
And it's on his shirt.
Better at entrances, but I think Friday there will be a different story. But
now, Cody, before you rudely interrupted the question that I was going to ask Mr. Bibbs,
I saved him from your terrible question.
To trash on him?
Well, I'm gonna ask it anyways. I'm not gonna lie. Critically Acclaimed has taken over it's pretty well church. Like Sunday night, Monday morning, I'm like, all right, Critically Acclaimed's up. I gotta go listen to it.
Thank you.
Yeah. What I love about your Wendy's chemistry is how you guys usually agree on a lot of stuff, and just the philosophical aspects that you approach to movies and films and how characters make different choices. The question that I had for you is that, has there ever been a movie where the two of you have been so polarized? I know Hellfest was kind of. I know Wendy defended it where you were not a huge fan of it, but were there any more extreme?
I'm trying to think. When it comes down to, because we do disagree, usually what happens is we have generally the same taste, but we approach film from different directions. And I'm more of a formalist, and I think more in terms of structure and thematic cohesion, and he's more interested in mood and tone and just general entertainment value. But usually we find some common ground. We've disagreed before. Sometimes we've disagreed, and then one of our opinions would morph over time. The one I remember is we saw Man of Steel. I think we can all agree the movie has problems, but generally speaking, I quite liked it. There were a lot of things in it that I'd never seen in a Superman movie. I'd always been frustrated over the years that Superman has never really had a great action sequence in movies before. Like Superman 2 had a lot of stuff in it, but it was all weird and floaty, and it didn't have any kinetic energy. Superman 4 was better in idea than it was in execution when it came to that whole fight around the world. And Superman Returns had almost no action in it whatsoever. So I was kind of just enjoying that. Oh my God, Jor-El just jumped off a cliff and onto a flying dinosaur and is stealing a skull in order to get the DNA. This is neat. I'm having fun with all of this. And Whitney had wanted none of it. He just thought it had sucked all the joy out of Man of Steel. And as time went on and I saw what Zack Snyder did with Batman v Superman, my opinion turned on Man of Steel a little bit. I still like it more than Whitney does. I still generally think it's okay. But the things that I thought were bugs turned out to be features. That was what Snyder thought was the important stuff. And I thought it was okay, well, it's too dark, and they didn't want to really get into the heroism of Superman. But maybe they were building to it, so they could build it to the next one. And then I realized Zack Snyder just doesn't really have that interpretation of Superman. So it's less interesting to me now looking back, but at the time I was very high on it, and he just hated it.
All right, I'm gonna open it up to the panel. Caleb, Sandy, welcome. Cody.
I will
Cody.
allow Cody to go first because he is raising his hand and was roasted by you two. So
That's very respectful.
That's the only time he'll do that tonight. Okay. On a different note, I like to ask this about, especially people in the film critic community. I don't know if it's been asked because I haven't been able to listen. But what film made you fall in love with film? Like, what was that film that you walked out of and you're like, wow, this is it?
That's a great question, and there's actually like a couple of different levels of that because I find that people usually there's like one movie that spurs your interest in movies, but then I find that your interest in movies tends to get rejuvenated or redirected as you experience different kinds of films. So, for example, when I was a kid and I was just sort of experiencing the wonder of cinema, it was the films that came out around that time. My earliest movie-going memory was seeing Amadeus, and just the music and the costume and being transported into an entirely different time was absolutely astounding to me, and I became enraptured with cinema. And then the movies that introduced me to the idea that movies were made before I was born was this sort of 1-2-3 punch when my mother insisted that we rent, back when you rented VHSs from places like The Warehouse. My mom was like, you rent Spider-Man cartoons all the time. I'm going to not get those. You can get that next time, but this time we're renting Citizen Kane, Strangers on a Train, and Mrs. Miniver. And we watched all of them, and I never rented the Spider-Man cartoons because I was just in love with classic cinema. And then as time went on, I discovered horror cinema. And I was actually a really fearful little kid. Like, I had nightmares about Chucky from Child's Play. But when I saw films like Evil Dead 2, and I saw that you can sort of recognize the filmmaking, like you can see the wire on the flying eyeball, it made me sort of develop a kinship with the people who make those movies and start to appreciate the joy of scaring people and thus being scared. And then later on, I discovered art house cinema, like really, really complicated and almost impenetrable but exciting art house cinema through the work of David Lynch. Particularly The Lost Highway was my introduction. And then I discovered my love of like Chinese kung fu cinema through actually a rather esoteric film. It's a Sammo Hung movie called The Victim, which is totally kick-ass, and I wish more people had seen it. But from there, I was just like, I have to explore the entire depths of kung fu cinema, and I did. And that was great, and that ended up leading me to samurai films, and it's an ongoing process. And I'm sure I'm going to discover something else in the future that's going to completely open my mind, and maybe I'll suddenly fall in love with a genre or aspect of cinema that I hadn't seen before. Like, I remember when I fell in love with anime when I saw Akira for the first time. So for me, there's a whole bunch. And
so
those
cool.
are a lot of them.
So cool.
Caleb, Sandy, or Caleb, yeah.
I'll let Caleb go first.
Thank you, Sandy. I've got a fun one. So say you could reach through all of the continuity of the Schmoedown and pick any one person to play in a one-on-one 5-round singles match. Who are you taking?
That's interesting. You know what I'm going to do is I have to pick Sam. Sam's retirement kind of screwed me a little bit because first off, he has absolutely every right to retire, and that's totally fine. I don't begrudge him that at all. But because he retired right when I was about to get my title shot, and because I ended up getting my belt from a match with Andreyko and not taking it from another contender, I have had to put up with so much crap from a lot of people who just don't see that as a legitimate win. And I had to put up with, Roca yelling at me, calling me a paper champion, which I'm still not sure what that means. So
means you didn't earn it.
I would like to have actually taken on Sam. My previous match with Sam, he won it fair and square, but it was an odd situation because I had a category that hadn't really been done before, and the questions hadn't really been vetted, and it was an odd situation. I wish I'd just known them, and we would never have this conversation. But I think looking back at that match, you look at those questions, and they're weird. I would like to have fought Sam Levine on even ground, and just see if I could beat it, because I think I could. I've watched some of his various championship matches against other opponents, and I know that if I've had those questions that his opponent had, by the end of the match, barring the speed round, I would have accumulated enough points to beat him. So that would have been my dream. I would have liked to have been able to take the belt from Sam, specifically. That would have been the ideal for me.
Nice. Okay, I will.
Supposed to be.
Mr. Bibbiani, my name is Sandy. I'm gonna
Hi.
I'm gonna do something a little different with my question because Cody stole my question. Damn you, fake Cody.
Cody!
That's my question. I came up with it.
Yeah, showed up late. You should have been last.
Mom
But
and Dad, stop fighting.
my question is: if you had unlimited resources and unlimited time, is there any movie that you wanted to like but didn't like that you would remake?
Ooh. Yes, but the question is what?
Mhm.
Honestly, the entire DC extended universe except for Wonder Woman. I don't hate them all. Like as I said, I think Man of Steel has some good stuff in it. I actually don't hate Justice League, although it's not good. I think it's zippy, and there's some fun bits. That one bit where the Flash is running and he just sees Superman look at him in real time it's such a good moment. Like there's so many good moments in it that I just see the potential. Like this could have been amazing, and I don't think it would have been fixed by a Snyder cut. I think it would have been fixed by going back to square one and starting over, and you just leave Wonder Woman in as a prequel, and then you just move on. So I would like to get started all over again. Now that being said, Aquaman looks kind of cool. Shazam looks fun. Joker looks kind of cool. Like maybe they're gonna write that ship, and I'll say fine. A couple of lame movies at the beginning wasn't a big deal, but I would have loved to have done all of that. That would have been the dream.
Awesome, thank you.
Get all the Red Sox stuff
Malcolm.
off, disgracing the logo.
As we all know, Chris Clark is a massive fan of yours. When you first saw him pop up in the movie trivia Schmoedown pages praising you to high heavens, how did it actually feel?
You know, I think I'm trying to remember. I think Chris was the first person who turned me into a meme, or tried to. And I remember, I think I was at Comic-Con or South. I was at some event. I wasn't at home, and I just saw this on my phone, and I was like, "Huh? What? Huh? Hey, everybody! Look at this! Look what this person. This is neat!" And it was really flattering. And I love Chris. I don't just love him because he's a fan. I've met him. He's a super nice guy. He's smart. He's really good at producing all this great content. As someone who has, has to put out a lot of material just to get by in this industry, I respect someone who has that kind of work ethic. I think Chris is a really, really great guy. And his support of me and Whitney in particular, I know he supports other people as well, but Whitney and I are best friends. And it means a lot to us. So it's nice to have him in our corner. It's a lot of pressure, though, because when you're, friends with someone who's a really big fan and, you lose a match, you just know, oh, Chris is going to be so disappointed. Chris, when I lost to Drew, I was like, oh, I want to tell Chris. I want to warn him. Chris, this is going to suck for you, buddy. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't remember more about the movie Frida.
No, it's either that or he takes his shirt off when he win the championship over it. We don't talk about that match anymore.
You broke your glass.
He can do what he likes. It's his life. It's his life.
Would you have suggested him not do that?
If he had asked me ahead of time, should I take my shirt off? I would say probably no, but you do you. We got to make our own choices.
All right, guys, we're gonna move right into the next sort of game that we do. the last time that we had a Schmoedown competitor on here, or sorry, the first time we did, Winston Marshall, we introduced a game called Press Conference. So for anybody who watched Whose Line Is It Anyway back in the day, you would know that the great Canadian himself, Colin Mockery, would get up and he would grab the podium and he would announce to the world that he was having a press conference. What was it about? He didn't know, but everybody else did. Ryan Stiles, Wayne Brady, and Greg Proops. So I want to make sure that everybody else on the panel, except for Bibbs, got the message that I sent them earlier before the show started. Perfect.
I did not.
No, I said I put it in late night roundtable.
Okay.
Cool.
Quick question from me, because I have to figure this thing out. Is it a specific person, or is it like a person who was eaten alive by tiger, like a concept?
No, it is. It's like it's announcing that you are doing something. Like what we've done in the past is we had like somebody join the Bare Naked Ladies. Somebody's killing off the Star Wars franchise. Somebody made a peanut butter toast sandwich and ate it.
So I'm not like Ryan Gosling. I have to figure out what I'm doing. Okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
All
right. Okay. So Bibbs, call this press conference to order.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call this press conference to order. I am here to answer all of your questions about this thing that I'm doing. Why am I doing it? That's a question you could ask. I will now throw it open to the floor.
Hi, Tim Horton of the Daily Double Daily. First of all, you look great, by the way. You look absolutely stunning. I just want to ask, who are you wearing?
I am wearing Givenchy, which is some sort of a shirt. As I understand it, it was made especially for me in my situation. Next question.
Hi, Caleb Coho, Multiplex Entertainment Press. How did Whitney feel when you told him the news?
Well, Whitney is always, a supportive individual. I could tell him anything, and he'd probably be fine with it and continue drinking his tea. But of course, in this particular situation, he was, honored to know me, I guess would probably be the best way to describe how he reacted to the new situation. Next question.
Hi,
Matt
Kearns. Gosh darn it, Cody. Matt Kearns here of Hot Takes Just for the Sake of Having a Different Opinion.com. How'd you get into the headspace to do this?
Well, I sat down for a bit, and I had a lot of carbs, carbo loaded, and because you gotta be ready to spend the energy to do the thing I do. Next question.
All right, this is Sandy Robinson from the Take 3 Full Metal Times. You're usually a pretty snappy dresser. What did it feel like to dress down to play this character?
I mean, look, when you're playing a person in this standing in this time of their life, it's you have to respect the situation that they're in at the time, that they're coming from. So, so I was bummed out for most of it, and yet the show must go on, and I let the wardrobe people do their business. Next question.
Cody here for CanadaSucks.com. Just wondering if your chemistry with this person helped you get in the headspace to pull this off.
I mean, it was antagonistic. I think we can safely say that. Not everyone is comfortable in a situation like this, but it all boils down to how good you look. And I listen. I don't know about the other person, but I make this look good.
Malcolm here from Middle Earth Media. I just want to know, was Christian confused?
Christian was. Here's the deal. Christian has learned not to push me when it comes to stuff like intros and theatricality and characters and who we're dressing as. So at first he was like, "No, you're not doing that," and then I was just said, "Well, I'm the champion. You got to do it, or I'm not going to play the game." And he was like, "Fine." And so that's why the situation has continued apace.
Hi, another question here for Hot Takes just for the sake of having different opinion.com. How much candy do you think you're going to rake in from all this? Just lowball it, maybe.
Well, look, there's candy, and then there's candy. I mean, there's always that one house on the street that gives out full-size Snicker bars, right? So that counts as like 8 pieces of candy right there. So I'm thinking like 500 pieces of candy is what I'm going to be going for on this trick-or-treating excursion. Yeah.
Hi, new reporter, Brooklyn Vale from the Cody Blows Hourly. On a scale, on a scale of C- to C+, C- being I'll never wear this costume again, C+ to I'll always wear this costume again, C being meh. Where would you rank your costume?
I mean, look, it doesn't fit. Like I just took his costume and I just put it on and I stretched it out a bit. So I'm never wearing this thing again. It's never gonna happen. C-.
I literally got nothing else.
Any other questions for the? No.
Too busy laughing.
I'm sorry.
Right.
There's literal tea in my nose right now.
All right, Bibbs, any guess who you are or what you're announcing?
I think I'm dressing up as a Schmoedown competitor for Halloween. And is it Whitney or is it Roka?
Oh my God!
It's pretty close. Close enough. You are Whitney.
Caleb screwed it up.
You are Whitney announcing that you are dressing up as Bibbs for Halloween.
Oh my God, that's really meta, you guys.
So
that's really meta, you guys.
I was just like, what are you doing?
I know. I tried to right the ship with my.
I might have messed up in my brain there. Sorry.
Yeah, he said, what did Whitney think? I was like, he is Whitney. What?
Yeah.
That's my bad. That's my bad.
Of course,
I misread the question.
Caleb's got to ruin a good thing. All right.
Hey, what else am I good for? You know?
I'm gonna move like a part of a section up earlier now because we might have a little bit of more time here, but we'll crack in what we can. I was going to say this for later, but because this is a Halloween theme, I'm gonna add some Halloween trivia. Just some little so the power of Halloween. So Sandy and I, we ran through some questions, some different percentages, some different stats on Halloween. So if you can, guys, grab your whiteboard or grab like a paper and a pen or something. So there's 13 questions in total. 12 of them. 12 of them are going to be stat based. One of them is going to be a random one. Sandy, you have the file that I gave you.
No.
Are these about Halloween the holiday or Halloween the movie?
Halloween the holiday. There is one movie question, but it is.
I hope I get that one right.
That's the one I hope
probably
for. Will.
Join the club.
All right. So Price is Right rules are going to be in effect if everybody is over. We'll do it again, and the person whoever's closest will get the point, and whoever gets the most points, just gets bragging rights.
Okay.
Did you send them to me?
You're asking. I'll do odds. You want to do evens?
As soon as I have the actual document.
Okay. I PM'd you this. I sent you a DM a couple days ago.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah. All right.
What is with this?
Got him.
I don't even talk that low.
Hey! Stop it! Let me tell you
It's
something,
because you
brother.
told him he put into a low voice, so now he's doing a low voice.
All right, guys. Let's get right into it. So these first few questions, these were studies done by the Halloween Industry Association. So these are going to be either percentages or grossing numbers.
That exists?
And your first question is going to be as such. What percentage of people actually carve a pumpkin for Halloween?
Just throughout all age groups.
Yeah, all age groups.
Everyone.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
go evens.
Yeah, I was quite surprised.
Okay.
We'll just do like a
good. You can't see my
5,
notes for this summer.
4, 3,
Can we cheat at this?
2, 1. We'll go with Bibbs.
With me? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess 35% because there's a lot of old people and people who don't like Halloween.
All right, 35%. Not a bad guess. Cody.
I did 30% because, as for me, I hate it. So 30%.
All right.
You hate carving pumpkins?
Oh, really?
Yes,
That's the best. It's one of the best parts. Kurt.
I was never allowed to carve a pumpkin when I was a kid. We always had to paint right on top. My parents didn't want to deal with the cleanup. I
Those are the best
suck at
parts.
math, and I'm not Frank Janus, so I don't know stats. 60%?
60%. 60% is over.
69?
Coho.
You see, I'm in the same area as everyone. I said 38%.
38%, and Malcolm.
Well, if 60% was too high, then 65% would be way too high.
65
okay.
was unfortunately too high. So the actual number was 46%. So that means Caleb gets the points.
Baby!
Yay!
46% of people.
Why is that surprising?
I got a trivia question.
I figured it'd be more.
Oh,
I thought it'd be less. Honestly, I
thought
really
it
did
was
think
way
that
less. I
they're
thought
just
like
people are
18.
jerks.
No, I think most of it's there's so much multi-housing that you don't
I
really
go
like.
around and
pumpkins
kick
out, so.
people's pumpkins that are carved.
Aw.
No, I'm just kidding.
Of course you do, Cody.
Just
You suck. All
I
right,
hate
second.
baseballs.
Your second question, guys. Last year, $9.1 billion. That's with a B. B.
Cool.
B. Was spent on Halloween. How much was spent on costumes?
All right. Dad, can I get this answer?
Was the
I'm sure
the actual
Kermit-
number?
I'm sure
The total
Kermit
number
knows
was 9.3 billion.
9.1
9.1 billion. Okay.
So out of that, how much was spent on costumes? Which is still an absurd number. Like, you think about, like, how much is the MCU
What was
gross?
the number again?
Andy?
Sorry, I'm dumb. What was the number again?
9.1 billion in total.
9.1 billion. Okay.
What did you ask me, Brooklyn?
How much is the MCU gross? Like considering like how much this number is, and I'm like,
Dad, give me the answer. What is it? Come on. I need to win this trivia game. Give me the answer.
Somewhere around there.
Damn you,
2,
Dad.
1. Time. We'll go to Cody first.
I said $2.65 billion.
2.65. All right, Kearns.
I went with 2.5.
2.5. Coho.
I went a little higher. I said 3.4 billion.
3.4 billion. Malcolm.
Out there.
I went 2.1 billion.
2.1 and Bibbs.
I kind of figured it was a larger part of the industry, so I said 6 billion.
So,
The actual answer, and we have a ding, 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 because somebody got it exactly right, is $3.4 billion.
What?
Wow.
Caleb,
That's very specific.
All right, guys. We finally figured out what my strength is if I ever do trivia ever again.
Random stuff on a
Random Halloween trivia.
Random Halloween. Dad.
I know what the next fandom exhibition match is going to be.
My
All right.
God.
All right,
impressive, man.
The next question. This is another percentage question. What percentage of people get their costume idea from YouTube?
Ooh. What percentage?
What percentage of people get their costume ideas from YouTube?
The imagination of everybody is
Now,
gone.
I have a question. Does that include illegal watching of movies on YouTube? Not that I partake in that, of course, but some people do.
I cannot comment on that, as I do not condone the piracy of movies. Piracy is bad. Okay.
It is.
Bad. I spend a lot of money on Blu-rays a year, so I don't
5,
partake in piracy.
4,
I don't.
3, 2,
All right.
1. Courage, you got a number.
40%. I'm like Tommy Lee Jones. I don't care at this point.
Okay. Coho.
See, I figure Pinterest is kind of big for costume designs because that's how my girlfriend found ours, but I'm saying 58%.
Alrighty. Malcolm.
I'm thinking that there's a lot of people. I'm thinking 70%.
All right. Bibbs.
For the sake of our society, I'm hoping the number is low. So I said 15%.
15. And Cody.
15.
I said 36.5%.
So I have some bad news. You guys are all over.
Really?
We're all over.
You're all over. So you guys get to go again.
So glad.
I'm fine with being over with that.
We're gonna do another round.
We'll do another one. Yeah, Price is Right rules will apply here. Sandy, I guess we'll round it up because it's a 0.9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, that's enough out of you.
Ooh.
Stop it.
5,
Give me mad.
4,
I love
3,
that you're dressing as
2,
the future world champion.
1.
I love it.
Coho.
I went with 9%.
Okay. Malcolm.
I went with 5%.
Okay. Bibbs.
Oh, 1 second. Hang on. I'm drawing. Okay.
Nice.
I said 8%.
8%.
We said
But it's England.
you're out.
Cody.
I went with 5.89%.
5.89 and Kearns.
I went with 3%.
I can't believe it. Coho gets it once again. The actual answer, 13%. It wasn't that far off from Bibbs' original.
Can we play shenanigans in this game? 'Cause what do you know about stats of the Halloween, for God's sake? Why do you know
I am
so
just
much?
so good at guessing.
Oh, no.
All right, guys. This is the 4th question, and it is once again another percentage question.
Oh,
What
boy.
percentage of people buy their costumes in the first 2 weeks of October?
Oh.
I imagine these are also the same kind of people who buy their Christmas presents near the end of November, beginning of December. You know, they like to plan. They don't plan too far ahead, but they pace themselves.
Oh, man, I'm down. I'm already done. So,
Oh, man, I haven't even started.
I don't have my
I was done in
I
March.
always wait till after Remembrance Day to start shopping.
I had my costume done a
5,
couple of weeks ago.
4,
Once I
I
got
don't
on.
have my
3,
costume yet.
2,
I hate
1.
I hate
Time I'm
last minute.
Malcolm.
I'm thinking there's a lot of people wanting to get in all the good costumes usually, so I went 75%.
Jeez.
All right, Bibbs.
So wrong.
Pretty close to mine. I said 70%.
70. Cody.
I went way beyond. I went 9.67%.
9.67%.
That was exactly right, it turns out.
Kearns.
It's fairly obvious that I'm not going to get any of these right. 'Cause F stat. I just went with 20%.
20%. And
I'm
Coho.
just putting random numbers.
I went 29%. This is where the streak ends.
Oh, man.
oh my God,
Oh,
he freaking
where-
prices righted you.
What?
yeah.
He prices
Kearns-
righted you.
Kearns had it, and then Coho just put a number slightly
No
above.
freaking way!
43.6% is the actual number.
Screw you, Doctor Who. I hate when
Who
BBC
invited
America
him?
cancels
Who
TNG to
invited
put your show on.
This is wow.
This is
marking the
impressive.
calendars. Caleb Coho is
What is
sweeping
Caleb dressed as?
everybody.
What is his
I've
costume?
learned a lot today.
He's
Doctor
Doctor
Who.
Who.
Number 12 or 2 or 4 or
11.
9.
11. The 11.
He's 11.
You can see because
So
my
ties are
screwdriver
cool.
does
Matt
this.
Smith?
He's 11.9.
Matt Smith, because my screwdriver does that.
Oh, he's Doctor. Okay, go ahead. Move on.
All right. Next
Yeah.
question.
Which would be appropriate, but
All right. So next question. This year, 2018.
I'm gonna shave your head.
What percentage of people are projected to dress up their pets?
Probably too high.
Projected? We're doing projected
projected.
stats now?
That's right.
What?
So what percentage of people are going to dress up their pets?
Yeah, it's like
Percentage of people.
at the beginning of the season, I projected that the Red Sox were going to win. Yeah.
I did, and they are. So that's awesome. Thank you.
I mean, I'd care more if it was a better sport, but that's a
It's
topic
all
for a
right.
different day.
Brooklyn, don't
At
worry,
this
you're
point,
getting a
I'm not
World
even
Series
playing the
pass.
game. I'm just watching Caleb be the Frank Janish of Halloween.
4, 3,
I'm gonna shave it.
2.
Somewhere Frank
One.
just shuddered because my name was said in conjunction.
Time's up. We'll go to Bibbs first.
Okay, I'm going to say 22%, and I drew a picture of one of my cats.
Nice.
Aw.
Cody.
I have a black cat too.
At you, I just
cool.
sneezed at your cat because I'm allergic. I did 45.36%.
45.36. Kurtz.
I'm as well allergic to cats, but I won't be so rude to sneeze on your cat. I have
I didn't sneeze on the cat.
I have a
sneezed
lot
at
of
it.
faith on humanity, and having had neighbors whose dog did not like getting dressed up, I know how evil it is, so I went with 15%.
15.
Leave your pets alone. They don't want to
Coho.
be dressed up.
Give us the correct answer.
I really hope that this is the correct answer. So 48%.
You
Wow.
guessed right as
And
you-
Malcolm.
No.
I put 10.15%.
10.15. Well, I'll tell you right now, it's not Coho. It's
Can't
actually
take it.
Kearns.
Speak over.
Matt Kearns gets the answer.
Yeah,
But
reason, baby.
the actual
Right,
answer
again.
is 20%. So Bibbs
That's
you were
still too high.
over.
I didn't.
So
I didn't.
bad. So
I didn't
close.
believe in. I didn't believe in the good of humanity, so I put 48%.
You were Bibbs, you were 1% away from getting a sandwich. Only the rest of you guys will get that joke.
All right.
Really
Oh,
weird for that.
yeah, okay.
Question number
Ah.
6. Question
All right.
number 6. What percentage of people actually buy their costumes at a Halloween store?
Ooh.
Okay, so like Target, Walmart, they don't count.
Homemade?
Stores.
Stuff like that.
Like
Spirit,
Spirit,
yeah.
Halloween, Party
Yeah,
City.
Yeah, give me the answer to this one again. You should know this.
No coaching from the peanut gallery, please.
So who's Matt?
But I'm
supposed to be?
allergic to peanuts, so I'm in the
What?
peanut-free gallery, so it's okay.
Plot twist. I threw that last one because I didn't want people to think I was
Oh,
cheating.
yeah. Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Get out.
Make sure,
Oh.
make sure your hands are in frame there, Caleb. 5,
Caleb,
4,
ever so humble in winning.
2,
No,
One.
no. I couldn't guess
Cody.
Oh, what is Kern supposed to be? I'm not sure, but 27.38%.
27.
Timeless.
All right.
Never
Kurtz.
seen it. Okay, cool.
God, I am Wyatt Logan from the Cancel Too Soon NBC series Timeless. I went with 20% because most people I know get their costumes from like Walmart or Target.
All right. Coho.
I said 32%.
32. All right. Malcolm.
Well, I mean, in New Zealand, we don't have any Halloween stores, but I guess 33.33%.
33.33. And Bibbs.
Okay, you're not going to believe this. I put 33.333%.
So,
Price is right. Price is right here. Price is right here.
technically, Bibbs is correct. He is the higher one. 37.5%.
I'm so sorry. That's so lame. I am so
Like,
sorry.
that's
That's
the
the
ultimate
lamest way to win. That is the lamest way to win.
the ultimate Price is Right. You beat him by decimal point.
As a
You're
Schmoedown-
you're that evil person that votes that bids $2 after the third person bid
That's
1.
Yeah.
That's right. As a Schmoedown competitor, you know a win is a win is a win. It don't matter.
All right,
It
next
matters
question.
when I do it. It matters when I do it. People still get mad if I miss the third round question.
Oh,
Oh, he won, but he didn't have to go to the third round, so it doesn't count. Why?
It should count.
All right, next question. Question number 7. According to the Daily Meal, where does candy corn rank on the 25 greatest candies of Halloween?
It's on the 25 greatest
It
candies?
is on the 25 greatest candies of
Okay.
Halloween.
That's weird.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So this is from like a list of people that like not like general public. This is just like a person that says.
No,
"This is what I think."
I imagine that they did some form of. No, I know. Actually, they based it on sales.
Sales.
They based it on sales.
Sales. Always be Selling.
Closing.
So just to make sure, 25 is the lowest that you can bid. 1 is the highest. If I see 35, I'm
All right,
just gonna
probably
give you
erase my answer to write 35.
Wait, it's 1 to 25, correct?
1 to
I'm gonna
25.
put 26.
1 to 25.
And Caleb, we know that it's closing, but
5.
still selling. Get it?
No, I get it. I get it.
One.
I'm just dumb.
Time. We'll go to Kurds first.
I went with 19 and a half. No, 19.
19?
Yeah, it's a little funnies for you all.
I'm gonna see if I price is right, Matt. I said 18.
If
18?
you price is right, me.
All right, Malcolm.
I'm thinking it's ridiculously high up at 5.
Oh,
5?
Hell no. There's a coupon
Bibbs.
out there.
Yeah, okay, so I'm thinking that because it's a candy that only sells at Halloween, it's going to be number 1.
No.
All right.
I like candy corn. I like
Cody.
candy corn. I don't care what anyone says.
I put 36, but you told me I couldn't, so I did 18.
So Sandy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Malcolm is over.
No, Malcolm picked 5. He wins.
Yeah,
5 was
all right.
right?
Malcolm wins. I know
Correct
6.
answer- The correct answer
Answer
is
6.
What was number 1?
Well,
We
that
can't
might
ask,
be
we can't
a
answer
question.
that because that is a question for later.
Oh.
How many questions are there? How
Yeah,
many?
what are we doing here? Are we here till 9? What's going on? What?
All
I
right.
think it's not where I'm at,
Oh
so.
my god.
All right, so this is a good one,
Just so you know.
and it's in the millions. So,
Wow.
how many million pounds of M&Ms are bought each year for
Oh.
Halloween? How many
Millions of pounds.
These are this is every kind, like peanut butter, pretzel. Sandy, were you M&M's guy growing up?
Actually, I was a Reese's Pieces guy. So,
I was actually Smarties.
until I found peanut M&Ms. Until I found peanut M&Ms, and then I like peanuts M&Ms.
Yeah, no. I was a Smarties
That's
fan.
the
which is-
only correct
which is way
M&M
too
is
confusing
peanut.
American,
Peanuts are the
because
best one.
Smarties
I
are
can't
rockets here.
eat M&Ms, so I can't. I feel like this question is just against me. This is just
Hi.
He's gonna get it dead on now.
We'll go to Coho first.
333 million.
Alrighty. Malcolm,
99 million.
99 million. Bibbs,
annoying.
I put 13 million pounds and a skull because that's what you'd be if you ate that many M&Ms. You'd be dead.
Cody,
26.14 million.
26.4, and Kearns.
I drew a face, but I put a 1 next to it, so it's 100 million. I'm just at this point, I'm just drawing pictures.
So you guys are way over. I'll tell you right now, you're way
All
over.
of us, even me.
okay.
I was the lowest, and
Yes.
I was way over.
Okay. What
Let
was
me
it?
say that
Oh,
it's in
wait,
the it's between 1 and 10 million pounds.
Okay.
Okay, so I gotta
okay.
get specific here.
Okay. Here we go.
Sandy, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed. My costume is slowly falling apart. So sorry to make it do here tonight.
I'm a little disappointed that you haven't shown Cody the rest of your costume.
Oh yeah.
No, guys, I saw the stupid beard and it was awful. Good night. Like, So I turned on the episode. I got there and I saw Biz. And I was like, "Oh, cool!" I said, "Oh, let me see what they did at the beginning because I see a lot of Red Sox stuff." And it's like, "Oh, I'm Cody Newberry. I'm your host." I'm like, "Okay, so we got an idiot hosting again." This is
It takes one to know one. Pens down.
I'm not from Canada.
We're going to go to Malcolm first.
I went directly in the middle. I put 5.
All right. Okay. Bibbs.
Yeah, so I drew an M&M guy, but if you put him on its side, it's a 3.
It's a 3.
That's right.
Good.
Funny.
Cody.
Did you
I
drop
went
it?
with 4.75658 million. I went all the percentage points.
Okay.
Which doesn't work in millions.
Curds.
Just to screw with Malcolm, I went with pot 5.01.
Coho.
Please.
Just to mention currents, I went 3.02. No, I'm kidding. 8.5 million.
So you guys are all over.
All over again.
Seriously?
All over again.
So do you want them to go again, or you just
I don't
move
care.
on?
No, I might
skip
actually.
it?
I actually no. Yeah, we're gonna skip it. The actual answer is 2.47 million. So Bibbs wasn't too far off.
Okay.
But I'm like, you're like millions. We're talking millions. So we all
Yeah,
know
it's
high.
like two. Two is not millions. Two is a couple.
The back end.
You set it up so. I love how we thought like there were like tens of millions of pounds.
I'm
Being consumed. I'm like, do you know how heavy that is? That's so much chocolate.
We're
I've been over
having
300
a
million.
great chat right now. Everyone trying to answer these questions and their hilarious commentary going along with them. It's funny.
All right. Next.
I'm gonna have to go read those comments.
Next question. Next question. What percentage of people actually go trick or treating?
Oh,
God.
Of the world? Ooh.
Okay, but wait. Time out. Now, does this include parents that are dragged
Yes.
along? Okay. Because they're not
I thought
actually.
this number would be a lot higher than it actually is.
all right. Well, that's gonna inform my choice.
That's what I was hoping for.
Like Nico dropping a Pittsburgh hit to any sort of Penguins question.
All right. Well, I'm gonna knock my guess down by 10.
Well, they thought
5.
like it should be higher, and it was like almost 50% last time. So
Time. We'll go to Bibbs first.
I didn't have enough time to draw my
disrespectful Brooklyn.
thing full of candy, but it's 39%.
39. Okay.
Drawing a thing was breaking.
Cody.
I did 43.827%.
I swear to God, if he prices
Malcolm.
rights me, I'm gonna break my board.
Did you get Malcolm?
Or sorry, Currents.
I broke the frame of the board.
I went with 69% just for the joke. God,
69,
I
dude.
don't get it.
Coho.
See,
don't get
if
it.
Cody prices rights me, I had
I love
52,
Bibbs.
and I knocked it down by 10 to 42%.
42. Malcolm.
I went for 29.9999%.
Malcolm is right. Or Malcolm gets it. It's 37.5%.
Wow.
No, it's 30%.
You know, at this point, what is
Or sorry,
going
30%,
on
yeah,
this
30%.
show? Oh my God.
It's okay, man.
Yeah,
So
you
we're
still
all
got
disappointed
Bibbs
today.
to those answers.
Also, how
When is
many more
this
questions
over?
are there?
Yeah, what are we doing? Is this hell? Is this where we are now?
We have. There's
Nothing
more.
more
I'm having fun.
I announced when we started this that there were 13 questions. We're on question number 10. So we're getting to the home stretch.
All right. Just seems like
I'm
so
having
many.
fun. I don't know about you guys.
You guys
Sandy.
remember when Brooklyn was like, we're going to talk about Halloween costumes, it's going to be real fun? He wasn't like, we're going to also do math.
I became a film critic because I'm bad at math.
Look, I don't know about you guys, but this is the only trivia I can actually win because it's guessing.
Okay, so this next one, Sandy, I'll ask this one. I'm gonna word it a little bit differently.
Oh,
So this is not a math question. This is one where you can actually be correct. You're not too far
Where
off.
the hell is the movie
So-
question?
All right.
The question,
right.
the question is,
Yeah, wasn't there a movie question?
there is a movie question.
It's
Let
coming.
me-
Okay.
Can I have my show back, please?
We have to
You guys
survive
are-
hell first.
You guys are all a bunch of Codys right now.
Yeah.
The question is, according to the Daily Meal, what is the highest selling candy?
Oh, dear Lord.
So this is why we couldn't say what number 1 was, because this is a question we have for later. So I'll tell you right now, it's not chocolate. It's not a chocolate candy.
All right, well, I'm going to erase Reese's right now.
Kit Kat. No.
Did you just make up a question?
No, so originally I had the so the third word in question 10 is now the answer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I
did some swimming.
Waha. If anyone knows where that's from, I give you credit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll go to Cody first.
I went with, because it's in those party bags all the time and they're easy to hand out, I went with Skittles.
Okay. Malcolm, or sorry, Kurtz.
Because literally every year I would get at least like 20,000 bags of these. I went with Skittles.
Okay. Go.
I also went with Skittles.
Not complaining, by the way. Not complaining. I love
Malcolm.
Skittles.
I didn't go with Skittles. I went for caramel corn.
All right. And Ibs.
The hell was that?
I put Tootsie Pops and drew an owl in a graduation cap.
Nice. Unfortunately, the art is incorrect. It is actually Skittles.
Okay.
Number 1. Brooklyn,
really
do you mind
weird.
if I jump over 11 and go to 12?
Yeah, sure.
I was going to say Kit Kats because literally every house
that's what
I
I
went
would've
to
said.
every year they would have Kit Kats. I'm like, what is this?
Sounds like
Ew,
heaven,
it's
Burns. It's heaven.
Like heaven, Kurt.
Skittles
I
are
can't
great,
eat it,
Matt.
so I wouldn't
I
know.
like this math equation that we're
Are you
stuck
allergic?
in.
Burns, are you allergic to
This is
chocolate?
hell.
Or you...
It's made in the same facility as like peanuts, so I.
You know.
couldn't
Oh,
do
I'm sorry, dude. That
that.
sucks.
Yeah,
That
man.
sucks.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is
Halloween
hell.
wasn't
That
fun
is
when I was a kid.
literally
It
hell.
usually ended with trading chocolate for Skittles with my sister.
Yeah.
because that's all I do.
All right, guys. Your next question is the movie question.
Thank you.
Oh,
All right.
God.
it's gonna
Before
be some obscure horror film no one's heard of.
Burns.
All right.
Before it took over the spot as the highest grossing R-rated horror movie, 1973's The Exorcist held the top spot, grossing how much domestically?
Oh, that sucks. I thought the question was going to be The Exorcist.
That's not a movie question. That still is a math question.
Wait, hold on. Serious question. This is not adjusted for inflation, right?
Nope.
This is not adjusted for inflation.
Okay. Whew.
Do we get more time?
Yeah, we'll give you a little bit more time. We'll talk about Sandy. We'll talk about The Exorcist and how its theme actually ranked on Malcolm's Rankum show of the top 12 greatest Halloween songs of all time.
Hey, Brooklyn, can I actually say something to you real quick about that?
Yeah.
You are the only person on that panel that was correct because the number 1 Halloween song is "Nightmare on My Street" by the Fresh Prince.
It's not.
That is the
It's
number
Monster Mash. It's Monster
That song gave me nightmares when I was a kid. Not Monster Mash, but Nightmare on My Street. Because when they kill Jazzy Jeff at the end, that scared me more than Nightmare on Elm Street did.
I
Really?
love that song.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch Nightmare on Elm Street.
I won't ever, to answer your question, Brooklyn, I won't ever watch The Exorcist ever again, ever. If I hear the music, I go the other way.
He sounds like he's possessed right now. Countdown. Let's go.
I'm
You
not.
guys know what happened with the score to The Exorcist, right?
No.
What
They got Lalo Schifrin to compose the score for it, and then William Friedkin hated it so much he threw it out a window, and then it ended up being the score for Amityville Horror, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
One man's trash is another man's treasure.
5,
true that.
4, 3, 2, 1. We will start with Coco first.
I went with 73.02 million.
73.02. Malcolm.
I put 500,000.
500,000.
Very
That's
low.
very
Yes.
low.
Very low.
I feel like I should know this. I'm just $183 million.
Isn't that right? That's more than
183.
it.
Cody.
Isn't it?
Domestically, I don't think so.
I'm a box office person. This is what my wheelhouse is. I'm going to go with $230 million.
230.
That's more than it did,
Kurds.
though, isn't it?
No, it made a ton of money, man.
I don't know
Is
box office, so again, I'm just
Domestically,
for the funnies. I went with 666 million.
All
You
right.
know what? I'm thinking of opening weekend.
So,
opening weekend is like 136, isn't it?
the box office guy is correct. It is 239 million.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, it made 327 million domestic.
Oh,
Nice.
geez.
Yep.
It made a lot of money.
Highest grossing September movie. Highest grossing.
However, if you adjust for inflation, The Exorcist is in the top 10 highest grossing films of all time. It made about $1 billion.
Yeah.
People went to see that thing in droves.
Why though?
Because it's
Because
great.
everyone loves to be
Yeah.
scared.
Because there was a time when blockbusters weren't made for kids. You know, the adults actually drove the box office. So movies like The Godfather and The Exorcist, those were the biggest hits. The Sting, a movie about a bunch of like dudes in the Great Depression pulling off a con, still one of the highest grossing films of all time if you adjust for inflation.
Yeah.
And then that George Lucas fella had to go and make a movie for kids.
Kind of ruined it. Honestly, kind of ruined movies forever. Just gonna say that.
And then
All right,
J.J. Abrams had to make a sequel to that George Lucas guy who made a movie for kids that made almost $1 billion in the United States.
And then he had to ruin my movie.
Yeah. And I mean,
All right.
The Exorcist was banned in a few countries as well, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Last question. And it is such. It is not a math question. It is a Halloween-ish question. At number 3, the top 25 best-selling candies. What is the most popular chocolate bar given out on Halloween?
Nice.
I would not know.
Considering my favorite chocolate bar I could never find. I'm going with the one I usually get.
Because I do not eat chocolate bars. Chocolate bars make me sick.
My favorite chocolate bar I
Although
can
we-
almost
although-
never get on Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Because
Well,
it's never given out on trick or treating, so I'm going with the one that I always get and sell to my sister.
I have an interesting question for after. All right.
But you can buy candy off of you. You can buy candy in general, right?
She doesn't buy it with money; she buys it with like Skittles.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Time. We'll go to Malcolm first.
I put Mars bar.
All right. Dibs.
I put Snickers.
All right. Cody.
Snickers.
Kurds.
Like I said, every household in Smithtown, New York had at least one of these Kit Kat. What
Kate?
was it?
That's a damn Kit
go.
Kat.
The thing that I always got when I wanted a Hershey bar, Reese's.
All right. So 2 of you are correct, and that is Bibbs and Cody. It is Snickers.
And I hate them so much.
I know.
I hate Snickers.
You don't like Reese's?
I don't like Reese's.
I don't like Reese's.
What?
Oh, I do.
I don't think
Like
peanut
Reese's.
butter and chocolate go together. I'm going to throw that out there.
I don't either.
I agree with you. I think peanut butter and chocolate is like the worst combination dessert-wise ever.
I've
I think
found my
peanut butter and
goal,
desserts.
finally.
Time out,
Okay.
guys. In the chat.
I have
Cool
the
Guy
final
says,
score.
Plot twist.
Hold on.
Brooklyn is actually the devil dressed as Brooklyn.
That's fair.
Thank you, Cool Guy. That was funny.
I love the cool guy. He's my favorite fan. He
All right.
doesn't like
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
If I could
I have
join the
the
club. There's a lot of people that don't like me.
That's true.
I got a. I had a
Hey, Viv, do you
personal.
want to sign a petition?
I had
Nice.
a personal. I had a personal comment directed directly towards me from one Chance the Cobra Ellison. He'd like to know what's up with my voice. It sounds like I've gone through puberty a second time. So
Yeah, your voice does
Yeah.
sound different.
It's
I
yeah.
don't know
For
what
the
you're talking about.
for the science fans out there, it sounds like he swallowed some sulfur hexafluoride, which makes you
Yeah. All right.
I
mean,
failed science.
Potassium chloride.
Failed science.
Chris
but I
Clark
got
would
it.
like to know how long is Bibbs staying for.
How much longer do you guys go?
we're probably going for another hour, but whenever
Okay.
you have
Another
to
full
leave, you have to
hour.
leave. Yeah, at least
I
another
can
full
stay
hour.
for another 10, 15 minutes.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, so we'll run through the news right quick. We'll get your thoughts, and then that'll be time for you to Jeff. So,
Very
Curtis,
I have your scores.
It's up.
Curtis,
cares
can you
about who
can
won?
you get your buddies out so that they
Yeah,
can
I'll
read the
go
news?
get my buddies. Just give me one hot second, guys.
Oh gosh.
Okay. If anyone cared, I came first with 5. Cody was
No
in
one
second with
cares,
3.
Caleb. No one asked.
And then a 3-way tie between Bibbs, Matt, and Malcolm with 2.
Yo,
That's fair.
Caleb. Yo, what's up? No one cares. You're not talking about Stallone. No one cares what you are saying right now. So shut your lip, Mr. BBC or whatever you are right now. I don't know. Matt made a joke
All right,
about
speaking as someone who, at least for the next 12 and a half hours or whatever the hell it is, like, speaking as someone who is the champ, okay, respect the champ. He won. Respect.
Yo, here's the thing, Bibbs. Good on you, but Stallone is the real champ of everything. This is Vinny here. You can follow me, Bibbs, at Vinny Stallone 76 on Twitter. I don't follow you because I only follow Stallone on Twitter. It's just my thing. You can also follow my buddy here, Kermit the Frog. Hi, Bibbs. It's Kermit the Frog here. Yay! Yo, what's up, guys? So what's up, guys? Yeah, he drank a lot of Miller before we came on, as per usual. So we're going to do the Take 3 news breakdown. So first thing up, it's a sad thing. Rip Danny Lennever? I don't know who he is. He wasn't in Rambo Rocky movie or Cobra. So.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. All right. Next we got that guy Del Toro is developing a Pinocchio movie for that Netflix thing. I don't know what Pinocchio is, but if Stallone's in it, you know I'll see it. The next thing we got is that Wonder Woman 1984 movie. Yeah, they're pushing that to 2020, probably trying to avoid coming out around the same time as Rambo 5. Okay. And also, $6 Billion Man was moved from schedule. I didn't even know that was a movie. Like, what? But it was removed from someone's schedule. I don't know. Was it Brooklyn's schedule? Brooklyn, why'd you remove it? Okay. Kermit's going to take over from here for a little bit. Hi, guys. Kermit the Frog here. So, next we got, oh God, with these names, Malcolm. Dermont Mulroney joins a horror filler trick. Yay! I don't know what that is. Yay! ABC canceled my show. Yay! Next we got LeBron James is producing a Friday the 13th reboot, or as I like to call it, his career with the Lakers. Yay! That joke didn't land for anyone, probably. Oh God. These names. Next we have. Oh my God. Yo, I'm gonna take it over from here. John McVeigh. Yo, he's attached to Leno Arnold biopic. You guys all know Leno Arnold. They're very, very popular, guys. Okay. Next we got the Joker movie. They got Alfred and Bruce Wayne. Okay, they're the comic booky dudes in the Thing in the comic booky movie. Okay, is this Marvel? Is this DC? Is this Image? I don't know. Stallone was in one of them. I saw that one he was in. That was a good one. That's probably the best one they've ever made in the world. Next we got Disney. They're rebooting. Yeah, they're rebooting Pirates of the Caribbean, the franchise, because Grindelwald over there is a weirdo. Next we got Legendary is developing a My Hero Academia live-action movie. I don't know what Academia is. I barely passed high school. And of course, now it's my favorite part of the news. We got Vinny's trailer park breakdown because Malcolm doesn't understand that I live in a closet, not a trailer park. Okay? So we got our trailers for Vox Lux. That's a real movie, apparently. The Front Runner. I assume that's the prequel to Blade Runner. And How to Train Your Dragon 3. So, yeah, guys, so that's it. You can follow me, Vinny Stallone, at Vinny Stallone76 on Twitter. Kermit, where can they follow you? Hey, guys, you can follow me at Kermit the Frog on Twitter. I'm the verified one. Yeah, seriously, tweet them and tell them that I hang out with Vinny. Yeah. Also, Mr. Bibbiani, talk about the Muppets that ABC canceled too soon. Yay! Right,
I'm just glad Kermit said something to me because I interviewed him and I was really kind of bummed he didn't remember.
He's a very cold person. I'll be in.
It's very slimy. Very slimy.
All right, so
slimy.
it may have been hard to understand, Bibbs. We are working on subtitles for that segment. But what is the movie news that stood out to you this week?
It's called Malcolm. Stop choosing the movie news for so many days.
The bigger things on here for me are actually first off, LeBron James producing Friday the 13th. As interesting as that sounds, I'll believe it when I see it because that franchise is wrapped up in legal battles right now. The original screenwriter who wrote Friday the 13th Part 1, he has exercised a little used legal challenge because it has been so long since the series came out that because he created it, because he wrote it, he owns a piece of it and no one wants to pay him anything. So that's why we haven't had a Friday the 13th movie in forever. So if LeBron has figured it out, more power to him. But as far as I know, that has not been actually settled in court yet. So no one can do it. So we shall see. I imagine after the success of Halloween, a lot of people are going to get their rears in gear and try to get stuff like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street back off the ground. The other thing that I'm frankly very, very happy about is that they're rebooting the Pirates franchise.
Oh, okay. Brooklyn, can I have the floor for like 5 seconds?
No.
Let Bibbs finish.
I didn't know. Maybe
I gave him a pause so he could talk. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I am a huge defender of Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, the first movie is in my top 5 all-time movies. I love the first 3. The 4th one I think is garbage. The 5th one was okay. But I think they already got the reboot they needed with that 5th one because they wiped continuity clean. And so now Davy Jones was teased for coming back in that 6th one. And I am completely on board with the 6th one if they bring back Davy Jones.
But here's my thing with that last one, and that really pisses me off because I watched that 5th movie. It has problems, but the end of it is okay. So they've now made it so that there's no magic left in the universe. That's it. All magic is gone, except Davy Jones. You can't do that. It's over. You ended the series.
They didn't erase magic. They just reset the curses back to the original people that were cursed. Is how
Cody.
But no one was originally cursed. Originally, no one was cursed.
I guess.
The problem is with the Pirates franchise, which I think is a fantastic. The first one and second one I do like. I like those two. Not as good as the first one, but the second one still has points that are good. The third one's super boring. I fell asleep in the theater. The 4th one is unwatchable. The 5th one is super boring as well. The problem that I have is they did not earn the thing that they did at the end to reset everything, to make it all make sense, or to make it where you can open it up to different things. They didn't earn it. Most people didn't want to go watch it. And the other people didn't stay to the end of the credits after seeing that stink pile to say, oh, they reset everything. That's cool. It's losing favor fast. They need to reset it to something what it was, because the first one had pure magic attached to it. That's why it's a great Pirates movie. But then they went to the cash cow off few too many times and made it way too complex.
I think the problem with the Pirates movies, first off, I think the first one is great. I think the first one is a hoot. It's wild. It's creative. It's really funny. The action is fantastic. The first movie is really, really solid. It's silly, but it's really, really solid, and I like it a lot. I think they started taking themselves way too seriously in those sequels. So even though there's cool action in them and interesting set pieces, like, you've got every weird little detail that made the first one distinctive and odd is now super important for no reason. It was funny that Jack had a compass that didn't work. Now it's the most important thing in the world. Jack has baubles in his hair. Now it's the most important thing in the world. I don't care. And also, it should never have been all about Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow is more interesting when he's a foil to someone else. So what they need is to get rid of him, get rid of all the other characters, and listen, there are tons of pirates. You can even say all that other stuff happened if you want, and just tell a story about other pirates. That's it. Well, you could have done that anytime. Just do that.
to jump off that point, when you look at that first movie, Jack Sparrow was a secondary character. That movie was about Orlando Bloom. It's his story.
Exactly.
Because he's in love with her. Like, it's his story, and Jack Sparrow was just facing. I see the problem with the Pirates movie is it's Matrix syndrome all over again. They had this really great standalone movie, and then they decided to make a series out of a film that was not supposed to be a series. And listen, I think the second one's okay. The third one I saw once at a friend's house, and the fourth one was just so silly. But I agree with you, Bibbs. I think it just has that issue of, for such a fun movie that had such a fun concept and didn't take itself too seriously. I'm sorry, the movie opens with Keira Knightley's dad dressed up as Captain Hook. You're not supposed to take it seriously. Then all of a sudden it's like, this is the most important movie you're ever gonna see. We have shipping scandals, and our final battle is going to be two ships just slowly turning around.
We're going to have shipping scandals. And everyone in Disney was just like, ooh, here's your check. Don't come back until $300 million has been spent.
I'm sorry, because all the kids on the playground who are like playing with their fake swords going da-da-da-da, they really want to see like shipping scandals from the revolutionary time.
I think
I don't know. I would say shipping
Well,
scandals. That probably.
I'm gonna go to Sandy next. Sandy has his hand raised patiently.
So when we're talking about I'll say about Pirates of the Caribbean franchise or any franchise, I like it better when they actually wait a few years and then reboot something. I think this trend that we were starting to see where people reboot things like right after, like 2 years after the last one came out, kind of bothers me a little bit. I'd like more time to pass and do something fresh with it, and then I might be okay with it. But everybody made really great points about the whole movies. The only one I really enjoyed was the first one. Every other one after that was kind of like, okay, it's sort of like the first one, but worse.
Yeah. Sandy, to your point, I think you've got a good point, and I often agree with you. I think we're really trigger happy with these reboots. Sometimes there's a really good reason why studios reboot things so fast, is because if they don't keep making the movies, they lose the option to make them, and they don't want to do that. So they have to keep trying to make a Fantastic Four movie. They have to they have to. But in the case of Pirates, though, I do think, and all I'm just going to say is this, I don't think the appeal of Pirates, at least after the allure of Jack Sparrow fell off, the character, no one gives a crap about the characters. No one gives a crap about Jack Sparrow anymore, and no one really cared all that much about everyone else that they wanted to see them in a whole bunch of sequels. They like pirate stuff and magic stuff. They don't even need to call it a reboot. Just do Pirates of the Caribbean, new subtitle, Jack Sparrow and Orlando Bloom. None of them are in it. And I think it's barely even a reboot. But anyway, I apologize. Cody wants to talk.
I actually agree with you, so thank you.
It's fine. The problem is I had was okay. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna throw there that I actually enjoyed the third movie. It's actually
get out. My problem with it was that the fifth one did something that I didn't think would happen. So when I saw the release schedule, I said, okay, the movies I do not care about, and Pirates was on that list. Then their trailer came out, and it was super different than what they've done in the past. They had an actual menacing villain that they looked like. They had flipping sharks. It was like all these things that seemed like, okay, cool, maybe it's going to be back to the campy, like super fun that the first one was. And boy, was I disappointed. That movie sucked so bad. I couldn't.
Trailers lie.
And that's why I don't normally watch trailers. But I was sitting in front of a movie. I saw it. I was like, okay, that grabbed my attention a little bit. Maybe I'll go see it. Maybe it's different. Nope, that was wrong. I think they should wait or just not do it.
All right. So moving on to another thing.
Real fast. If we're moving on, first off, we had Peter Jackson wanted to say something.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're so mean to Malcolm. Gosh, you order me.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think part of the reason Disney are looking to reboot Pirates of the Caribbean is so they've got a reason to get rid of Johnny Depp based on all his things that he's been up to as well. I think that could be part of the reason find the workaround to get out of it. I mean, yeah, it's just
No, it's a good point. And listen, Johnny Depp doesn't sell tickets. He doesn't. He did for a little bit, and now he doesn't. So, yeah, getting out of that contract, he's made like hundreds of millions of dollars off of those movies. They don't want to spend that anymore, especially if he's not driving sales. One last thought about Pirates. Sorry, one last thing. Disney bought Lucasfilm, and I think they bought everything Lucasfilm had. So just make a Monkey Island movie. That's it. And honestly, when you watch the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, there's a lot of Monkey Island stuff in there. From the ghost pirates to the going through the swamp on in a boat made out of a coffin to see a voodoo priest. It's a lot in there, so just make it for real this time. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Secret of Monkey Island. That's a great movie.
If they make that movie, can it be dedicated to LucasArts? Just at the end? Just
absolutely. I know, sorry, going on.
All right. Sorry, no. The thing I wanted to talk about, I think it's a step in the right direction. Is Guillermo del Toro adapting or putting his spin on Pinocchio? I know this is one that has been hit and miss. We all go back to Roberto Benigni's Pinocchio, and I actually watched the English version as like a middle schooler. It fucking sucks.
It's so bad.
It's
so
awful.
Bad. Yeah.
You can be sure to catch it on what number episode?
Oh, critically acclaimed. It's like 8. It's like 8 episodes.
49. 8 episodes.
It was a little bit further back than that. We did put Pinocchio on critically acclaimed like a month or two ago. Here's the thing with Guillermo del Toro. I think people have mislabeled Guillermo del Toro. I think a lot of people think of him as a horror director, and he's not. He's a fairy tale director. He always has been. He just tells really dark fairy tales, like traditional Grimm's fairy tales. You look at his best movies. You look at Kronos. You look at The Devil's Backbone. You look at Pan's Labyrinth. You look at Shape of Water. Those are fairy tale movies. He's just telling new ones. So him actually telling a straight-up fairy tale, especially in stop motion, which I'll bet he's really great at, that's exciting, and I think he can knock it out of the park.
It's going to be a question movie, to say the least. I have a question about this one. Is this going to be a not a live action, obviously, because it's stop motion, but is it supposed to be like a Disney remake or something completely new?
No,
it's part of Netflix, so
it's not gonna. Okay. It's not going to be Disney. Disney doesn't own Pinocchio. It's in public domain.
Okay, I was going to say.
Any other movie news that stood out to anybody? I know How to Train Your Dragon 3 was I know that's a very anticipated sequel. Anybody actually watched the trailer for it?
I haven't seen the second movie about it.
Yeah.
The second movie's good.
Yeah.
I don't like the second one.
The trailer is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh,
One thing that shocked me is the death of Danny Leonard. I mispronounced his name. Is he directed Dude, Where's My Car and Harold and Kumar Goes to White Castle, and also a couple episodes of Freaks and Geeks around there as well.
Oh yes.
We lost all the names. Like I didn't realize until I actually looked it up. And I was like, oh yeah, he did that. It's like, I mean, he hasn't directed a lot of like movies, done a lot of TV episodes, but I mean, to lose him was still a shock because he wasn't that old either. He was about 60-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So we've lost. Yeah. No, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, I love Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. That movie is hilarious. That is like my 3 a.m. like Comedy Central movie that is always on whenever there's nothing on TV. That's always on, and Neil Patrick Harris still cracks me up in his cameo in that movie. It sucks for anyone to pass away. Before,
we also lost James Caron this week. Do you guys know him at all?
I don't, unfortunately.
You would know. Listen, if you Googled the name James Caron, Karen, you will recognize him because he's been in everything. He was in Return of the Living Dead. He was Craig T. Nelson's boss in Poltergeist.
Get out of here, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. He was
the boss.
He was 94 years old and still working.
He was Charlie Sheen's boss in Wall Street that gave him the deal. Oh man.
Yeah, he's one of those character actors who was just in everything, and he's one of the. For me, the sign of a great character actor is two things. One, when you see them in a movie, even if you don't know their name, you go, "Oh, that guy! This scene is going to be good," and it is. But the other thing is that I think there's some character actors who, when they pass away, we don't just lose the character actor, we lose the character, and like they just don't make that character. Now, I don't think James Cameron was quite that distinctive, but I'm thinking about someone like the great John Polito, who, when John Polito died, we stopped getting John Polito characters. Just John Polito, you'll know him. He was like the other private detective in like The Big Lebowski. He was in a ton of Coen Brothers stuff. He was just, when you needed a short, bald guy with a mustache who was kind of Weasley, you got John Polito. And now we don't have a John Polito anymore. So when a great character actor passes away, I think it's really important that we notice, because we're used to seeing them all the time, and now we're only going to see them when we look back in the past, and that really bums me out.
He was in one of my favorite movies, All the President's Men. Damn.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and another one of my favorites. Crap.
Yeah.
Billionaire Boys Club, 87.
There you go.
All right. Any other movie news before we you guys want to talk about before we move on to the next thing?
Well, just for me, as a big fan of the DCEU, pushing Wonder Woman 1984 to 2020 tells me that Warner Brothers has a lot of faith in this Joker movie to do that.
I don't know. I don't know if it's. Yeah.
Oops,
my bad.
No, go, Caleb.
Okay, sorry. I don't know if it's
what we call a Canadian
I don't know if it's based in a Joker movie per se, but I think it's that they had so much success in a summer spot, and that seeing Wonder Woman in the summer spot again in 2020 would make sense. Then they wouldn't want to move it up to 2019, because then they're directly competing with the fallout of Avengers 4. So I think moving it to the next year where they have a lot of room to breathe is why they did it.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Summer is stupid, and if I ran a movie studio, I wouldn't release hardly anything in it, because summer is crowded.
Agreed.
Black Panther had the room to be Black Panther because it came out in February. The reason why the other Star Wars movies made so much more than Han Solo, partially because there was more interest, but Han Solo didn't have any room to breathe at the box office. So it opened a little cold, and then there was tons of competition for the exact same target demo. So Wonder Woman would probably do fine in summer. It would probably do better almost any other time. Like, you release that in March, you release that in February, you're going to get like free reign for that to be amazing. Releasing in summer just seems dangerous to me.
If you want to make a lot of money with that movie, release it in January. What's your competition? The Loft?
Glass.
You know, studios do not like releasing things in January, and the reason why is because all of their Oscar movies, their prestige movies that got really limited releases at the end of the year, start getting national rollouts, and they get this huge wave of additional publicity for free because they're at the Academy Awards and everyone's talking about them. So January they tend to back off on, and we tend to get a lot of cheaper schlock just as counter programming to all of those really fancy movies that people like, you know, me in Los Angeles or in New York, they got earlier, but the rest of the world only gets in January. So you're not going to get too many blockbusters in January. I think that one's probably safe.
And theaters also don't put things out normally, or studios, because the expendable cash is blown during December times, because for the fact that birthday, you know, Christmas or holidays and families in and they go to see stuff. January, everybody kind of takes a break, so you don't see huge numbers. You don't see huge numbers, so that's why
casinos do the exact same
movies
thing.
like The Forest and stuff like that put out.
Yeah. Although, okay, so I'm gonna make a counter argument for the summer because I disagree slightly. I think there are niche pockets in the summer that you can do. For example, the one that screams out to me the most is the end of August. And the movie that I bring up is Straight Outta Compton. I feel like it did really well for like the tail end of August where it was like it caught that transition period. It did not get enough Oscar buzz that it deserved, but I thought it did financially well as critically well for it being like in that summer block. Are there any other movies like that?
Well, I'm going to throw it out there. Straight Outta Compton is a great movie. I like that movie a lot. I think it should have been nominated for more Oscars. I think it should have won a couple of them as well. But the Straight Outta Compton box office was $200 million. Now, that's good. That's not what you want Wonder Woman to make. Again, August is people are back in school.
Yeah.
People are trailing off. People are back at work, and there's not a lot of room for a lot of big blockbusters. So late August is a really good time for some like medium movie to do well, and then again it'll have legs. Look at Crazy Rich Asians, where that movie kind of came out of nowhere. I mean, people knew it was going to do well. They didn't know it was going to do that well, and then they just kept going to it because there wasn't a lot of competition. But even Crazy Rich Asians, if Wonder Woman made as much as Crazy Rich Asians made, it would be considered a bomb. It's Crazy Rich Asians made it, so it's a huge box office success. So there are so many weird concerns with financial stuff, and I don't usually, like, as a critic, deal with it too much because personally I don't give a shit, and I don't think most of us should. Like, how much money did this movie make? Really doesn't matter to you, does it? Like, I'm not making any money off it. Like, the only difference is that, like, if it makes no money and I liked it, I might not get a sequel. That's it.
That's actually a great.
Power Rangers.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. Power Rangers. Love that movie. It's not going to.
Yeah, it's a good movie, right? I like that film.
Bibbs, what do you think about October now with the success of Venom? Do you think that was just an aberration, or do you think October's opened up now for more studios to put big budget films in?
October's been fine for a while. Gravity came out several years ago, and that blew out October. I don't know why studios are nervous about October. There was like last year or the year before, they didn't even release any horror movies to speak of in October, which was absurd. Obviously, Halloween did very, very well, so I think we're going to see more of that. But again, my point is the studio's best strategy is to put out more blockbusters spaced out throughout the year rather than 2 a weekend, 3 months in a row, where only a third of them are really going to be able to succeed. Yeah. It's a waste of time and money. Like, just put it out gradually over the course of the year. You're way better off. Yeah. So October is fine. Yeah, put them out.
I was actually Malcolm. Yeah, you have a question here.
Yeah, because I mean, take this year for example. Because like in the first 2 weeks of the summer, you had Avengers: Infinity War, you had Deadpool 2, then you had Solo, pretty much bang, bang, bang right after each other. I think there might have been a week between some of them. I think Solo didn't do well because with the fact that you had Avengers and Deadpool 2 sort of similar movies come out so close together before it.
As somebody who thinks that now, mind you, grab your pitchforks and your torches. I think Star Wars is overrated. I'm still baffled as to why they didn't keep Solo in December. I feel like because December was Star Wars month for like the last 2 years. But I don't want to talk about Star Wars a lot. But what I was going to do was I was going to segue into we shouldn't care about box office the same way we don't care about Rotten Tomatoes because Bohemian Rhapsody, which comes out next week, it's been getting mixed to positive-ish reviews, but it's weird because Christian was vocal about Bohemian Rhapsody being one of the favorite films of the year, and I'm just curious as to like, I know we're all big. A lot of us are big music fans. We're actually doing a Queen playlist on Monday. We're sure to check that out. But what are you guys? Is this concerning you about going to see Bohemian Rhapsody?
No,
not at all.
Not at all. No, I want to go to the movie because I want to go to the movie. I don't care about Rotten Tomato score. I never have, or else I wouldn't have went to Venom and had such a good time. So no, box office means nothing to me. Rotten Tomato score means nothing to me. I'm going to go see a movie because I like the movie or I like the subject of the movie.
Do critics mean anything to you, Sandy?
Absolutely, they do, and I will listen to critics and I will value the opinion that they give. But I'll make my own mind up about a movie.
You should, of course.
Absolutely. I
Well-
will never ever discount somebody's opinion because everybody's opinion counts. But there are a lot of movies out there that I like that nobody else does. And so
To jump off of Cindy's point, the way I've always been as someone who, and anyone here at Take 3 has watched for a long time, knows I like a lot of movies that people hate. The way I see it is like Rotten Tomato scores don't really mean a lot to me. Box office doesn't really mean a lot to me. If I want to see the movie, I'm going to see it. When it comes to movies that I'm on the fence about, that's when I go to Schmoes and to Mark Riley's and people like that I follow as critics to be like, okay, should I go and spend my money on this movie or on this movie? And there's been a couple of times that I've gone and seen a movie that maybe I wouldn't have if Jeremy Johns didn't give it a good review and made it out to be a movie I would want to see. But at the end of the day, I want to see the movie. Nothing's going to stand between the movie except for my lazy ass not wanting to drive to a theater.
Currents, if you like that kind of content, may I suggest a podcast called Critically Acclaimed?
I have listened to it, sir.
Okay.
And it's
All right, sorry. Sorry, I didn't interrupt. Cody.
That's my main fully because everybody gets onto it like Rotten Tomatoes is like the be all end all, and people don't like it because it gives out a rating. The main problem that most people have is they don't know how to read Rotten Tomatoes, and that's my biggest frustration because I found out since I worked at the theater for 5 years, and I followed ratings and see how it's going to trend that weekend and how things are going, and a lot can be determined by Rotten Tomatoes. It really can. But as I fell in love with this community of like Schmoedown and stuff like that, I've also switched how I use Rotten Tomatoes. I don't use Rotten Tomatoes as the be-all, end-all. I actually pick out the people that I consider great and people I see eye to eye with, or a few that I don't see eye to eye with, and see how they saw the movie and how I see the movie. And Bibbiani is actually one of them that I use because personally, Bibbs likes some movies that I'm not sometimes a big fan of. But then I go back and watch it, and then I read his review, and I'm like, okay, I see why he liked that, because you can tell a lot about somebody and with how they see a movie, differently. Like I see it like, because he always explained Whitney. Whitney likes tone and like mood and stuff like that, and walks out, and it's just like, if that hits me more during that movie, that's cool. But I see it as like, so if Bibbs does a review and it's like rotten and his review is just like, no, like do not, this is not good. I've read enough of his that I'm like, okay, I can kind of trust that viewpoint. I'm not going to go in and waste the money. I might watch that when it becomes on Redbox or Netflix or something, but I'm not going to waste $8.75 or whatever, how much tickets are where everybody lives. So that's where I think you should use Rotten Tomatoes. If you have somebody, just find somebody that you see eye to eye with or different and use them as your critic, pretty much. Yeah.
That has a lot to do, though, with if you listen to Critically Acclaimed, if you listen to it, I've had the opportunity since listening to it to go back and watch movies that I never watched before, that I didn't have any interest in, and love those movies now and really enjoy them. But when it comes to box office, it's just preference, I guess, right?
I'm gonna go to Malcolm next. So he's had his hand up for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, talking about critics, it's one of those things that for ages I thought I was one of the only people in the world that loved movie, and then I listened to Critically Acclaimed one day, and I found out me and Whitney share the same views on movie 43s because I really enjoyed it. It wasn't until I listened to it, it's like, I'm not the only person in the world that sees the movie for what it is.
Fucking Malcolm.
That's beautiful, man.
Well, listen, there's something out there for everybody, right? I mean, that's kind of the whole point. Right. But one of the things that, like, you guys, I'm just going to say this, speaking as a critic, there's a lot of movies where critics are relatively meaningless because people are just going to go see it, whether or not, based on whether or not they're interested. If the critics suddenly tell everyone, no, run, it's terrible, and everyone wanted to see it, they might get nervous, but it'll probably still do really, really well. Look at Venom. Critics, I think the most important thing isn't whether or not a critic says you should go see this movie in wide release. It's to make sure that you know about all the other stuff. So I'm always skeptical of critics who only look at the biggest movies. It's our responsibility to find the smaller ones too, because there's too many out there. No one has time to watch them all. I'm a full-time critic. I don't have time to watch them all. I'm watching hundreds of movies a year, and there's always something. I just ran into a guy today, and he was like mentioned his 3 favorite movies of the year, and I hadn't seen any of them. It's frustrating. Critics are there not for the movies you've already made up your mind about, but for the movies you haven't heard of. And the movies that maybe you heard they were bad, but now you're going to get a different perspective on. Or occasionally movies you liked and didn't realize they're actually like really gross. But usually we should be looking to critics, and critics should be having this responsibility to guide you to stuff that you haven't already made up your mind about. I think that's more important, really, than whether or not a critic liked Bohemian Rhapsody, is whether or not a critic liked, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some like obscure thing that came out, like Mandy. There's a lot of movie who never would have seen that movie Mandy if a bunch of critics hadn't spoken up about it, and a lot of people really loved it.
To interject right quick, and then I'll go to you next, Caleb. The prime example of that is actually critically horror movies that you guys need to go see. I am not the biggest fan of horror. I do not like getting scared a lot of the times, but the way they sold the movies was like, all right, I need to go see them. So then I remember actually tweeting it to Bibbs and Simon, and I'm like, all right, I don't like scary movies. What should I go see? And all right, you guys, you need to watch the 43 version of Phantom of the Opera. So whenever I do find that, I am going to go check it out and see. But Caleb, right quick, because we do have to change here a little bit.
I will make this quick. I just had a quick story about all this. I like Metacritic a lot. I like that's where I go to find all the people's reviews. And sometimes it's Twitter. And I went and saw 2017's Beauty and the Beast last year, and I saw Bibbs's tweet about it, and that was one of the things that informed me on whether or not I was going to completely love the movie or if I should see it. And I ended up loving it. And then me and Bibbs had that conversation about whether or not the production design was great and would win an Oscar.
All right. So unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to William Bibbiani. He is a very busy man. He is but I do want to thank him for coming on. Yeah.
And listen, all you guys are really thank you. All you guys are really, really great. It's been a real pleasure hanging out with you. A real pleasure just playing games with you. And honestly, speaking for everyone in the community whose lives you've been a part of, you guys are awesome, and you're kind of the future. So thank you for creating this really great space for people to just hang out and enjoy the things that they like together. And it's really positive and friendly and informative, and that's super awesome. So just keep up the great work, y'all. You're wonderful.
So for those, thank you very much. That does mean a whole lot. But for those who are unaware of your work, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
Oh, well, the cool kids are elsewhere. But, okay, so I'm doing a lot of stuff. I write for IGN sometimes. I write for The Wrap sometimes. I write for criticallyacclaimed.net. But a lot of the material on there is links to me and Whitney Seibel's work elsewhere on the internet. But we do have original content there as well. We co-host the Critically Acclaimed podcast, which is on the Schmoedown iTunes feed. We review new movies every week, and we usually do a double feature every week of a bad movie selected by our listeners, or allegedly bad movie, and then we pair it with a classic movie to sort of bring out some interesting facet of it people don't usually talk about. Throughout the month of October, we've been reviewing whole horror movie franchises. This last week was Hannibal Lecter, and in a couple of days, we're going to be recording an episode about all the 5 Tales from the Crypt movies. We've got Canceled Too Soon, which is a podcast me and Whitney host about TV shows that lasted only 1 season or less. Throughout the month of October, we've been doing horror-themed ones. We just did the failed pilot for a sitcom starring Elvira, which was hilarious, and I hope you not only check out the episode, but find that online. Later this week, we'll be doing Kolchak the Night Stalker, which is one of the most famous failed TV shows of all time. And then in November, we're going to be doing our Marvelous Month of Marvels, and we're only going to be reviewing failed TV shows based on Marvel Comics.
Nice.
And in addition to that, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/canceled too soon. Canceled always has 1 L in it. We have bonus podcasts there where we review TV, movies, and miniseries. We have an ongoing podcast where we review every single film ever nominated for Best Picture in chronological order. And also we do Google Hangouts and a bunch of other stuff there as well. And I am on Twitter @William Bibbiani.
Cool. All right. well, once again, thank you very much for coming on. Good luck in your match tomorrow against Sean Roca. It's going to be entertaining. Yeah.
I hope you're all entertained. I haven't seen it yet. I don't know how it came out, but I hope it's good. Everybody, thank you again. Have a great night, and
Yes,
cheers.
go. Cheers.
All right.
You're so gonna lose
The beast,
tomorrow.
ladies and gentlemen, Wade
Oh my
Bibbiani.
God, Cody! What an asshole!
Cody, we get it. You're a Roca fan. You were upset about Tuesday. I get it.
You
God.
turned so quickly
Listen,
like, oh, I'm a big supporter.
Listen, I will literally pull Caleb through this screen if you talk to me like that one more time.
Ooh. God.
I'm not upset.
I get it. Cody, I get it.
Who's
You
your
were in
Schmoedown
support of
fan?
Roca
Yeah,
over
who's your fan?
Chance. It's fine.
Oh my
We get it.
God.
Of course I am.
Dad and son are fighting. Mom.
I never rooted for Chance in the fan leagues. I'm not gonna start now.
Oh, yo, Cody.
Chance is watching.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Chance.
Chance already messaged me. Chance already messaged me about Tuesday. He's like, "Dang, dude, you were harsh." I said, "You ain't seen nothing yet. Wait until you face him in a championship match."
Oh,
I don't
boy.
bow down to no man.
Alrighty, so let's get into it's kind of the main topic, but I mean, obviously with the champion here, we focus on time on him. But it is only a few days away until Halloween, so we wanted to talk about like favorite costumes, just Halloween in general, and how great of a time it is. So we were dressed up in costume. Second here, I'm about to sneeze. For those of you who don't know. Not anymore.
Just to
Sorry.
inform everybody.
Well, it's kind of a side story because if you know me if you know me beforehand, I actually sneeze like quite a bit. Like on average, in one like fifth, I'll sneeze on average of about 10 times. So it's pretty loud. And it's not fun. But I'll try to minimize it as much as I can. But just like favorite costumes that we had. So for me, easily, I want to say for at least 3 or 4 years, I had a Superman costume growing up. It was actually pretty cool. My dad made like the big S logo and had I had the red tighty whities. But I would say that my favorite costume ever, I was Homer Simpson in grade 10. I had like a styrofoam.
No friends, did you?
I didn't actually. I had a foam thing that went over my head, and I had these white, almost like ping pong ball eyes, and I had like black wire for like the hair and stuff. It was actually really cool. If I have any pictures of it, I'll try and find it. But Cody, since you are so critiquing of my costumes, what are some of your favorite costumes growing up?
Okay, well here comes the hot topic. I hate Halloween. I don't like costumes. I don't think they're fun. For the two that I can remember from when I had to dress up, I went as Hollywood Hulk Hogan 1 year for Halloween, and that was me with the painted on beard and everything, and yeah, that was fun. I also went as a pimp 1 year, which was really awkward because I was like in 5th grade with a solid purple suit and zebra, not zebra, but it was like zebra striped or something. It was real awkward. Some girls, like the parents were terrible. Like it was a bad situation. And when I was 5 years old, when I liked people, I went as a pumpkin. Yeah, that's about it.
I feel like that's a costume that everybody has to go as.
I
at some point in their life.
The picture of the pimp, though, that is by far my favorite costume.
What I'll probably end up doing is whenever I get all the pictures submitted, I'll have like a little like scrapbook and I'll link to it probably like tomorrow morning or something, or maybe later on tonight. But Kearns, you actually have an interesting story about your Halloween days.
Yeah. So because I don't think I've ever talked about it on a platform. My father, he works. He's the head of product development at Ruby's Costume Company. The company, you might not know the name off the top of your head, but pretty much most licensed costumes, if you go into a store and you find them, they probably have a Ruby's logo on them. Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Scooby-Doo, like they have pretty much everything. And he's been working there since way before I was born. So every Halloween, pretty much, I had just it was open for him. And also the guy John, not my father, another guy John. He was always like willing to, like, if we wanted something special, he would make it for us. And so there were some years, mostly Star Wars I went as, Bespin Luke I went as one year, Farm Boy Luke I went as another year. I was Batman when I was in kindergarten. That was before I became a big Superman fan. I was Green Lantern another year. But, well, first off, my favorite costume I've ever done was in 8th grade. I was Marty McFly. And that was because originally I was going to be a stormtrooper. But then my school had this big thing against masks. You weren't allowed to bring a mask. And so, like, fucking, there goes a stormtrooper costume. So I literally, the night before, threw together with all my clothes a Marty McFly costume. And it was pretty freaking sweet. I have pictures of those because my sister is actually, her birthday is the day before Halloween. And it was the year of her Sweet 16, which was a Halloween party. So I went as Marty McFly. So I have those pictures. But the costumes everyone likes to talk about in relation to me is, again, going back to my father, when I was in 6th grade, day off of school, me and my brother went to work with my dad. Lucasfilm had a deadline because all Halloween costumes, they need to see the pictures to approve them, to make sure that everything is like as they want, and if they need to change everything. So instead of paying for models, my father was like, well, shit, my sons can fit into these costumes, and they also fit this pretty cool. So if you go into a store and you find the Luke Skywalker or Han Solo costumes, that is me. I have the picture on my phone. That is me. And I'm also on the Han Solo blaster box. And there he is. There he is. There's me. Little 6th grade man.
Nice.
Yep. So yeah, that's my Halloween costume. It was the coolest thing in the world. Coolest thing in the world was when I was in 7th grade. StarWars.com had me on their front page with a couple of others, but I was on the front page of StarWars.com, and I lost my shit. I still don't get money for it at all. So
I have the best Halloween costume story ever.
Oh my god, he's
try and top that though.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Sandy, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, I should have went last.
Was that
really
5th grade Cody?
Yeah, that was Pimp Cody.
That was Pimp Cody.
I hope my nose. Give me my Skittles.
Nice. So growing up, my mom made all of my costumes for me, and she was the boss at it. I went as Popeye one year. I had like the big arms and corn pop pipe. It was perfect. This one year, she was, I don't know, she was on this kick, and she's a pretty decent artist, and she worked at a grocery store, so she brought home this big, large box, really tall and wide, and she painted it to look like a Wrigley spearmint gum package. And she said, this is what you're going to go as Halloween this year. So she put it over top me and cut an eye hole, slid in his arms out there. So I was just walking around. Yeah, I lived in a trailer park. And if you know anything about trailer parks, when there isn't a trailer there, there's like a big PVC pipe that comes up from the ground for water and sewer and all that kind of stuff. My brother and our friends pushed me onto the pipe. It went through the costume between my legs. Picture that if you'd like. I'll allow the joke and the ha-has to go through. I fell down.
I'm more concerned here.
Stuck on this pipe now. I can't get out. I'm spinning around like AC/DC's Angus Young, rolling around trying to get out of this thing. My friends and my brother stole my candy. And I sat there on this pipe for like 2 hours until this old couple that lived about 5 trailers down from us saw me flailing around, crying, and came and picked me up off the thing. I went home, mad as all could get out. My brother and his friends all came home, and my mom went ballistic and took all of their candy, split it, and so I got a share of all their candy, and all I had to do was sit there and do nothing.
Cody is Fred Flintstone. Yabba dabba do.
Yabba dabba do.
My wife just sent me that.
Caleb Coho, what are some of your favorite costumes growing up?
When I was younger, my cousins and I, we would always kind of try and coordinate what we did when we were like my aunt and my mom would, because it was like there was a squad. There was me and my two other older cousins, and the three of us would always coordinate something. So one year I went as Batman, and my cousin went as Robin, and my older cousin went as Batgirl, and that was a fun night. But my favorite one was when me and my cousin were super into Power Rangers Mystic Force, and we were able to put together a Green Ranger, a Red Ranger, and a Blue Ranger, and the three of us went around the block as Mystic Force Power Rangers with the wands and everything, and it was fun. But I think my all-time favorite one that I'm most proud of is the one I'm wearing right now is Doctor Who.
Malcolm, what are some of your favorite costumes?
Oh, little Cody.
Yeah, like for me, I don't often dress up Halloween, but for me, a few times I have, because I've dressed up as a vampire one year. It's probably hard there, but yeah, I have dressed up in costumes various times. Because for one of the Comic Cons, I made my first ever costume, which was a poor imitation of Iron Fist, and I'm talking about the proper Iron Fist, not what the Netflix series were trying to go for.
I'm the immortal Iron Fist.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of costumes out there. If I had the money, I would dress up every year, but just for me, it's money wise. I just really can't do it.
Yeah. All right. So the next question that I have for you, and I was genuinely curious because I do have an answer for mine. When you guys went trick or treating, what was like the make or break of what was make or break for houses? Like what was like? All right, we need to go to this house every year. So for me, and this is gonna sound super weird, canned pop was the big was you had to go to that house because it wasn't until 2008 that canned and bottled like plastic bottle pop was legal. For the longest time up until 2008, we had glass bottles and glass bottles only. So you had like I think it was a 355 milliliter bottle and a 750 milliliter bottle. If I could find some photos, I'll share them. But it's PEI had some weird laws for some reason. It's something about the environment. But it was that was like in grade 4. I was like, all right, these people have canned pop, like because you'd have to drive to the neighboring province to go buy it and then come back.
Yeah.
But that and like chips, like bags of chips and the baked candy bars, that was a spot to go to. But Kearns, what was kind of the make or break for you?
Well, for me, again, as not being picky as a job, but just having allergies, I didn't really get to be like that. It was kind of like, shit, if I show up to a house and they actually gave me something that I can eat, thank God. For me, not really that. More so kind of along the same line, but not really as true as when I was a kid growing up, Smithtown, there were always the legends of because Smithtown and there's like 5 other towns that literally you drive a street over and you're in another town. So there's always the legends. There was always in Hop Hog, there's a neighborhood where they give out lollipops with $5 bills wrapped around them. And we had that shit where it was this legendary neighborhoods where they were giving out money and these giant Hershey bars. None of it was true probably, but I always remember, because I had 2 older sisters, and I always remember hearing from them of we should really go to Hop Hog because they're doing this, and it's you look back and you're none of that shit was true at all. Probably, who would do that?
Right. Yeah. Anybody else for make or break?
Sure. So I live in this weird spot of the country where the state line is literally a river. and there's two sides on each side of the river, two big cities. There's Grand Forks, and then there's a tiny small town, East Grand Forks. I'm in East Grand Forks, and if you want the good stuff, you go to Grand Forks. And so me and whoever I'm trick or treating with, usually it was my cousins. We go across the bridge, and when you go across the bridge, there is a street right here. As soon as you come over the bridge, turn this way, there's a street. It's called Reeves Drive. And every time we go there, big, ginormous Victorian houses with people that just had, my goal was always to get a Hershey bar. That's my favorite candy, and I could never find it. Whenever I went to Reeves, I always got like 6 or 7 Hershey bars. So that was always my favorite. And Reeves was just like, is stacked with all these big houses. There's a house on the end of the street that we always had to go to because they gave out apple cider to everyone. And that was sick. Like they gave out like big candy bars, apple cider, like they went all out. So Reeves is like the treasure trove for kids in my city.
Nice. It was never about one particular house, but if we had the energy, me and my friends, it was mostly just quantity over quality. But if we had the energy, we'd go up the hill a little bit to a section of our little city, our little town called The Bench, and that was where all the big houses were. It was where all the wealthy people were. So we'd usually head up there pretty early in the shift, and it was full-size candy bars. It was all kinds of good stuff. So I remember one year that they were giving out those, not just regular chip bags like the little ones, they were giving out the big ones, and it was just amazing. So we'd go home and be like, yeah, where'd you get all that stuff? And yeah, that's where it was.
Malcolm, obviously, I think, yeah, candies are probably going to be a little bit different in New Zealand. But what was the big ticket item during Halloween?
Well, this is the thing. In New Zealand, not a lot of people actually go trick or treating. My parents never let me go trick or treating. Is like. But I mean, they've always seen like Halloween as a more American-centric holiday than anything. So I mean, so we don't get a lot of trick or treaters. But I mean, most of the candy we get is pretty much the same. Like you've got the M&Ms, you got Skittles, like Mars bars. Like it's not really a lot different that people are looking for. I mean, most kids don't want to get fruit and vegetables and
freezes.
It was always bad.
From a rich lady, and I threw it at her.
Oh my god! Were you dressed as the pimp when you did it?
That was the pimp. That was the pimp when I did it.
You slapped her with the cane.
We literally drove like 30 minutes to these people's houses. It was the rich neighborhood. Everybody said go there. First house we walked to, she opens up the thing. Would you like an apple or an orange? I said, are you freaking kidding me?
You got money?
I said, where's the full-size candy bar? She goes, man, you're a little angry pimp, aren't you? And I said, if I was older, I would have said, I said, if I was older, I said, you better have my money. But I don't know. I just remember taking the apple and chucking it at her mouth.
Cody, if I'm you and I'm a little older, it's like, you better have my money or else your granddad is going to work it out for you, motherfucker.
I just remember pulling up in this immaculate house, and she literally holds one of the two up, and I said, you kidding me? I walked out and I said, Mom, we gotta go.
So
Mom, these rich people save it for themselves. They can tell the
I love it.
people. They can tell the middle class from the 1%ers.
This is legitimately the greatest Halloween story ever.
All right, guys, let's get to the moment that 3 of you have been waiting for. This is the debate portion of the show. It's the one we always end on.
Oh.
I don't know but it's always like there's always like at least one person that's like super pumped for debates. Probably Cody, but because there are 6 people on the panel, Cody gets to sit back and take a break. He's playing Spooderman. Probably he's playing Spooderman. Are you playing Spooderman?
Wait. I'm just gonna throw out a challenge here, Brooklyn. If you don't want to have this happen, here's the thing: with this being Halloween and me being the only official Halloween model, Cody over here likes to talk a lot. I want to throw out a challenge. I will fight you on every single debate, and we go movie fights on this. Whoever wins the most debates is the champ.
I don't think that's fair to Caleb, Sandy, and Malcolm.
I'm okay with it.
because I want to actually play.
All right, so we'll.
I would have
Sorry,
gladly
Matt.
accepted.
Okay, whatever you say, paper.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
What'd you just call me?
I called you paper.
6-time
Paper?
champ's not
He's the
paper.
most
I'm a
legit
two-time
debate
champ.
champion we've had.
Hey,
Oh my God,
you can call
Caleb,
me
you're
a
not
paper-
helping the
Hey,
situation. God damn it, stay out.
you can call me a paper champion, but at least I've held a championship, Matt. Sit over there,
All
bridesmaid.
all right.
Spoken like a true champ.
Yeah, let's. Oh, God, Caleb, stop sucking up to him, man.
I
told
mean,
Caleb
I
and Matt go
legitimately
round
will be the
one.
first one to say
I
he's the
told
Robert
Caleb
Parker of
and Matt
debate.
Go round one. Now that
Okay,
Matt's
come
fired
on,
up, I
come
hope
on, come
Caleb
on.
and Matt go round one.
Okay, cool. So we are gonna do the standard 1, 2, 3, 4 format. I have the group in particular order. So Sandy, because you are the only former champion, you will pick first. Pick a number 1, 2, 3, or 4.
I will pick. I'll pick 3.
You'll pick 3. Kearns, because you are a bridesmaid and never a bride. 1, 2, or 4.
2. Oh, fuck
2.
you, Brooklyn. Fuck
Love
all
you too,
you.
buddy. Malcolm, because you are the take 3 staff.
1.
Fair enough.
I got the number I wanted anyway. Cool.
And that leaves Caleb before. So that means that Malcolm is going up against Sandy, and then Kearns
Yes!
going up against Coho.
Oh, Matt, baby, it's round 2.
This is a very revenge-filled bracket. As
I love that Sandy and
Sandy,
Malcolm have to face
Sandy
each other.
has accused Malcolm of just noping anytime Sandy has been coming on.
I have physical proof.
Can somebody vamp?
Malcolm first?
Can somebody vamp for 30 seconds while I go grab a drink?
All right. Well, you see,
Yeah.
guys, the reason why I went last is because I'm not good enough to be a member of Take 3. I am what you call a
That's true.
mudblood.
That's true.
So I'm here as the outlier, and I call it discrimination that I have to go last to pick a number just because I'm not a member of the Take 3 community.
Well, Caleb,
Well, I am part of the
Caleb, if
community,
it
but not
helps-
the staff.
Caleb, if it helps, you could have just not been on the show at all. So
You're
at
right.
least we're nice enough
You're
to let
right.
you in our playground.
You're right.
Oh my God.
You're
Can I
right.
just-
I'm the favorite. I get it. I'm the
Again,
favorite
we're just
multiplexer.
talking
I'm
here,
everyone's
Cody,
favorite
my-
multiplexer, and Tim can suck it.
Can I
Again,
just say, Cody,
great
my
news
favorite
is
thing
you
was
all
still
get to
when you
lose to
came
me.
on.
So it's okay.
That was my
All right.
favorite thing in the world was when you came on and you had watched the beginning part of the show. That was my favorite entrance you will ever have on any Take 3 video. Your face was already like, fuck Brooklyn and Sandy.
All right, was that good vamping? Did I get? Do I do good? Did I do good?
I have no idea.
Yes.
I said something about mudbloods and not being official.
It was
I don't
good.
remember.
I heard it. It's growing.
All right, so Sandy is gonna go. Sandy and Malcolm are gonna go second, which means Kearns and Coho are gonna go first.
God.
Kearns, because
Okay.
you are the, I guess, the higher ranked. You can pick question 1, 2,
I was
3,
gonna
or
say
4.
because he's from Take 3. Cool. I see the discrimination.
Oh my God. All right, Caleb, then you pick the number. For God's sakes.
Thank you.
Jesus.
Thank you.
He always bitches
It's
until
called
he gets his
pity.
way.
It's called pity,
Right.
and that's how I
Question-
go.
Question 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Holy shit.
Did you say something about my mother?
The
love
victim there. You know.
I'll take dose.
De en français.
Dude.
Sorry, español.
Okay.
No hablo francés.
No habla inglés, señor. No habla inglés.
No,
All right, so
no
habla inglés,
question number 2. If you speak first, you go first. 20-second opening, 15-second rebuttal. Cody, you will not be judging. So you get to sit back and tell me when I'm wrong.
Spider-Man.
As long as you
so-
go to me so I can say something.
He does that anyway, so.
All right. So the question is: What celebrity will be the most popular costume of 2018?
Oh, son of a
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. All right.
Ooh.
my boy.
Let me see. Who's a big celebrity this year? Let's see.
Emma Stone in La La Land.
Funny.
Shut up, there,
That's
Scott.
so
Vance.
2 years ago, Cody. That's so 2 years ago. 2018.
Stop trying to make La La Land happen. It's not going to happen.
Thank you.
It already happened. It's just over.
For about 2 seconds.
Get over it.
I gotta think.
5,
Yeah, but you don't have all the time in the day.
4,
You don't know.
3, 2, 1.
Robert Downey Jr.
All right, Robert Downey Jr. I do have an answer, but I will save it for after.
Okay.
All right. So I heard Kearns versus Trump. 20 seconds. Time begins after talking.
If we learned anything from 2008 when everybody dressed up as a Joker, and 2016 when all girls and some guys dressed up as Harlequin, everyone likes to dress up as a villain. Who's more villainous than Donald Trump? The other thing that is, I don't want to say great, but the other thing about Donald Trump is there's so many different variations you could do on him. You could do him as a Muppet. You could do him golfing. You could do him president. You can do so many variations.
All right. Mr. Coho.
You want to talk about variations? There's no more variation than picking a Robert Downey Jr. character or any version of Robert Downey Jr. that we've seen in movies. The thing about Donald Trump is that no one wants to associate themselves with him because of the negativity that comes with him. And you picked a costume that is so 2016, early 2017 that no one is talking about doing Donald Trump anymore as a costume because it's not really a meme. It's just a sad fact and a sad reality that that's who we have as a leader. And it just depresses people on Halloween.
Time. All right. And dressing openings for sure. Kearns. Time begins whenever you're talking.
No one's dressing up as Robert Downey Jr. from any movie that isn't Iron Man, and you didn't pick Iron Man. People are still dressing up as Donald Trump. Look at Comic-Con. People were still dressing up as Donald Trump because everyone hates the fact that we're living in this weird world, and so kind of making fun of this weird Muppet is just the way we cope with it. No one dresses up as a Robert Downey Jr. character.
Time. Okay. Coho.
You are insane if you say no one dresses up as Robert Downey Jr. What Comic-Con did you go to that no one dressed up as Robert Downey Jr. and people were dressing up as Donald Trump? The thing is, Robert Downey Jr. has played Iron Man, and Iron Man was in the highest-grossing movie of the year worldwide. There's no way no one is dressing up as Robert Downey Jr. As Iron Man from the Avengers. No one is dressing up as Donald Trump. It's not 2016. Just because you're obsessed with Menace does not mean that you have to get it.
Time. All right. I am going to go first. I am giving my point to Kearns because Kearns got it on a rebuttal, and I didn't hear a strong enough defense from Coho's side. He was stuck on the Iron Man thing, but like the way that you rebutted it proved Kearns' point is that Robert Downey, like, only people are going as Iron Man. That isn't necessarily Robert Downey Jr. That's Iron Man. So I'm giving my point to Kearns. But there are 3 judges here. Sandy, I'll go to you next. Who gave the better argument? Why?
I was hoping so badly that Kayla was able to come with Robert Downey Jr. and say something he could have said. You know, he didn't do enough telling me that of what you could have went as for Robert Downey Jr. You could have said Tropic Thunder. You could have said Iron Man. You could have said a bunch of different movies that he was in and prove your point that Robert Downey Jr. is a good costume. But because that wasn't there and Kearns was able to defeat that in his rebuttal, I got to give Matt the point here.
Malcolm, your vote unfortunately did not count, but how would you have swayed?
Yeah, I would have agreed with everything you guys have said. There's Kearns kind of got it by just sort of going, well, Robert Downey Jr. is like most people were only interested in Iron Man, and Caleb didn't defeat that in his rebuttal enough. So I mean, it was pretty close though. But I mean, like for me, Kearns got it when he said that there's multiple different variations of Trump you could do. So yeah.
Can I challenge this real quick? Because I want to make a very quick point. You said celebrity, That doesn't mean I can. I didn't realize that meant I could pick a fictional character because they're not a celebrity.
That doesn't change the fact. You misunderstood the question.
What?
No, you said celebrity, which means that I had to pick a celebrity, which means he can't argue that picking Robert Downey Jr. does not mean Iron Man because that does mean Iron Man. You just said I couldn't pick Iron Man, so I had to pick a celebrity. So I picked the person that plays Iron Man.
What?
As the champion?
I'm just confused now.
As
he
the
said,
champion.
let me just say the question again.
Stop.
Pick a celebrity. Which means I can't pick a fictional character. I had to pick a celebrity.
Caleb.
Shut up.
Shh, for 2 seconds.
This is my whole viewpoint. Regardless of how you took the question, regardless how it was debated, regardless how anything is, in a speed round debate, anybody can pull up any towards fact. It's your focus if you counter it or you focus on it. The main question was, what celebrity? You chose the celebrity as Robert Downey Jr. He selected Donald Trump. The debate still happened. You focused on Iron Man. That's your problem. Or going in the highest grossing movie. You said it. You lose the point. That's fair. Point.
The answer that I would have given, I think, would be more relevant even than Donald Trump. I would have picked either Logan or Jake Paul. Big YouTube celebrities who have been in the shitter for the last little while.
True.
So Currens advances on to the semifinal. Here facing the winner of Sandy and Malcolm. It is not discrimination.
Yes, it is. It's discrimination.
Ooh, it's gonna be a long.
I just really want to know what your point is, because how can you argue? How would you have a different point?
Because if I was allowed to pick a fictional character rather than a celebrity, I would have just argued Black Panther or Iron Man or something like that.
Caleb, that I'm gonna just ask you here. Any kid who's dressing up as Superman, are you going to say they're wearing a Henry Cavill costume this year or a Superman costume? Iron Man existed long before Robert Downey Jr. and will exist long after.
They said celebrity. If that meant I could pick a fictional character as well, that would have completely changed my argument. I had to think in terms of who the celebrities were that I could pick.
Yeah, and you picked Robert Downey Jr.
If I was allowed to pick a fictional character, I could pick a different character, and that's how I would have gone. I didn't realize I could do that.
You could have picked more. You could have picked like Roseanne Barr, somebody who's been big in the news.
See, I get it. But at the same time, you're judging me as if I had picked a fictional character and didn't argue it as a fictional character.
My point, once again, is that Currens had a really good rebuttal.
I'm not saying it changes the point. I'm just saying I would have argued the point differently had I known I could pick a fictional character. That's all I'm saying.
You couldn't.
Okay. Then why are you judging me like I should have picked a fictional character and I didn't?
Because you focused on that. The problem with the debate was that you focused on the Iron Man side. The Iron Man side is an Iron Man side. If not, you're talking about him with a goatee in a suit, so you're battling suit versus suit. Trump wins. Sorry. Have a good day.
Malcolm.
Yeah, no, I was about to say pretty much what Cody just says. Like, with Caleb, you focused just on Iron Man. You could have sort of put out that Bobby Downey Jr. He's been in other different movies like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Tropic Thunder, and stuff like that. That you could have used to counter Kearns' multiple Trump versions as well. So that's kind of what I was going at. It wasn't more the fact that you were go down the Iron Man route.
All right. So moving on, we are now on to Sandy versus Malcolm. Sandy, because you are the former champion, you can pick question 1, 3, or 4.
I'm sure that ruling will give everybody the excuse to vote for Malcolm because he's paid them all off again. It's just going to be that way. So
Sandy, it's discrimination.
It is. I'm disappointed with this whole situation here.
I hate Canadians too, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, you mother.
I don't like Lord of the Rings.
Sandy, it's discrimination.
All right, so Sandy, what number are you picking?
Which number is my range from?
1, 3, or 4.
1, 3, or 4. All right, I'm going to straight up go with number 1.
Number 1. All right. So, in my studies, the most popular costume this year for kids is princess. So my question is, what movie princess will kids go as most this year?
Princess Leia.
Princess Leia. All right.
Belle.
All right. So we have Leia versus Belle. I heard Leia first. Malcolm, you got 20 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Well, I mean, Star Wars is still really popular today. So, and one of the pop characters in Star Wars is Princess Leia. And with the passage Carrie Fisher, people are continually going to go as Leia. I mean, with Belle, she was only reinvigorated with the recent reboot, and then yeah.
All right, Pat and Chris Clark, and they got before time is over. Sandy, you got 20 seconds. Time begins whenever you're talking.
All right, listen, Belle has been a popular princess in the Disney universe for 20 years. Princess Leia, yeah, you're right. She was a great costume back in 77, 81, and 83. She's General Leia in the new one, not Princess Leia. And nobody from this generation would know who Princess Leia was unless you're a hardcore geek. That's why Belle, becoming relevant again, has reinvigorated her as a princess in every little girl's eyes.
I love this like low baritone voice because it sounds so soothing.
They were also really good opening arguments.
Yes. Malcolm, 15 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
You said it right there. Leia has been really popular in the last 40 years. Her reappearance in Rogue One's reinvigorated that popularity, and everyone started. And with the death of Carrie Fisher, it was there. With Belle, she was
time. All right, Sandy.
All right, I'm going to make this really easy. I didn't say that Carrie Fisher was popular for 40 years. I said she was popular 40 years ago. What I say is that because Belle has been made relevant again because of the live-action Beauty and the Beast and because it was a popular Harry Potter character, everybody wants to be her. Not as much out of our community would want to be Princess or General Leia.
Time.
I can go first.
Yeah, Cruz is going to go first.
My God. It really comes down to the fact that Malcolm sadly just wasn't able to rebuttal what Sandy brought up. Malcolm, when Sandy was like, oh, kids don't know who Princess Leia is, he could have been like, shit, kids don't know who Princess Leia is. So it really came down to Sandy just had the stronger opening and rebuttal.
Yeah. All right, Caleb, we'll go to you next. Basic arguments provided.
Yeah, completely with Sandy on this one. He kind of boxed Malcolm into a corner. Malcolm had a lot of opportunities to make some big hits on Sandy, and he really didn't. So I'm making my vote to Sandy.
Yeah. I would also agree. In Malcolm's rebuttal, I wanted to hear more about why Belle was bad. She was very much so on the defensive of Leia, and there was opportunities to get some attacks in there. So I also would have went Sandy. Cody, how would you have swayed?
Yeah, so this could have swayed really easily because if Malcolm could have hit Belle, because Sandy did the one thing that gets strike down a lot. He went more defensive than offensive. He didn't describe Belle a ton. He just described about Leia. So the thing is, I think if he would have been able to counter, we have so much of Leia. If he would have took down Belle a little bit more, it could have been Malcolm. But it goes to Sandy for sure.
Yeah. All right. So that means that Sandy is moving on to the semifinal. He's taking on his rhyme and reason partner, Matthew Mr. Kearns. I'll do it a little bit differently, Cody, because you are the champion. What question? So question 3 and 4 are left. What one do you want for your match?
I'll take 3.
You'll take 3? Okay. So they're getting question number 4. I know one of our competitors is going to be very pissed that they did not get this one. So your question, gentlemen, is we covered it on Tuesday. We'll cover it now. What is the best Halloween song?
Thriller. Michael Jackson's Thriller.
I'm going to say the Monster Mash.
All right. I know Caleb Coho is screaming because I'm sure he has a very strong opinion about Nightmare on My Street, and he camped off and mic'd off. Interesting. All right, so I heard Thriller first from Kearns. You get 20 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Monster Mash is that song that, they play for like a 5-year-old's Halloween party. Thriller is something that you can turn on the radio and every October it is playing. It is used to market Halloween movies and shows. Stranger Things Season 2 used Thriller to market it. They just attached it to a terrible Halloween movie, the music video, because it's so much about Halloween is Thriller.
Time. Okay, Sandy, 20 seconds. Time begins to read.
I agree completely with Kearns. Thriller is the better song, but the most recognizable or the best Halloween song is the Monster Mash. You say the Monster Mash, and everybody can say the next lyric. Everybody can hum along to it. Everybody can do that. Not everybody knows Thriller. So, and it's not necessarily a Halloween a song.
All right, Pat to Chris Clark, ending early. We'll see how that works for him. 15 seconds, Kearns. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Thriller is a Halloween song in the same way that Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie, even though it might not really be. Monster Mash, yeah, everyone might know the words, but everyone knows the Thriller dance. Everyone knows that chorus. Everybody knows Thriller because it is so much surrounded around this holiday, even if it wasn't originally intended to.
All right, Sandy, 15 seconds. Time begins whenever you start talking.
I don't really care if everybody on the planet does a flash mob to the Thriller dance. It's not the dance that's important, it's the music. And like I said, the Monster Mash has been around for 70 years. Thriller's only been around for 35. The most popular and best and most recognizable Halloween song is absolutely 100% the Monster Mash.
Time. I'm really torn.
Mm-hmm.
I am very torn. I am going to Coho first because as a fellow musical...
This was very difficult. In my opinion, Kearns picked the better song. However, the better all-around argument, Matt's opening, 100% great. His rebuttal, as compared to Sandy's entire opening and closing, didn't hit Sandy enough where Sandy came back and was able to kind of turn what Matt said and give him a couple extra hits. So I'm going to lean slightly to Sandy. That was very close.
That just makes total sense.
I am going to go next, and I am actually going to disagree. I think Sandy had an opportunity with the rebuttal, but what generally I got from both competitors that I was lacking and I wanted to hear is how your song ties into Halloween. I didn't hear that from either one, so I had to go off either points. And for me, Kearns edges in the rebuttal because with Sandy's opening statement or Sandy's rebuttal, he was like, Monster Mash has been around for 70 years, whereas Throw has only been around for 35. That isn't super relevant for me because the age doesn't matter whether or not it's a timeless piece or not. But I will give it to Kearns slightly.
Malcolm has to decide it. Yes.
Malcolm, based on the argument provided.
Yeah,
Oh
will not be swayed because Sandy thinks you hate him.
Based on the argument, yeah. We'll
Believe me,
right now.
It pains me to vote against Sandy, but I'm sorry, Kearns had the better argument in my eyes. Malcolm,
And his eyes are often blinded.
Oh my God.
He wanted this. He's the host of the show. He wants this to happen. He wants Malcolm driving it.
God.
He wants Matt to be the champion. Let's be real. He
Yep,
wants to
that's
deep throw
what he
Cody and make Matt the champion.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
not Malcolm,
what I was about to say, it was really close for me. What has led me to make the decision is when Sandy said that Thriller is only really known for the dance, but that Monster Mash is really known for the music. So yes, my vote is going with Sandy.
See, that was my thing, is Matt said that the dance is iconic, and Sandy hit that hard by saying, I don't care if the dance is iconic, I care about the music. That was what won it for me.
Guys, this is total bias. You're really just trying to put
I
me
disagree
down
completely.
with Malcolm.
I disagree completely.
So Cody, I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
At the end of the day.
Like, the problem is that, again, I agree 100. Mark this down in your calendars, put it, pencil it, do whatever you got to. I agree 100% with Brooklyn. What Brooklyn said was 100% fact. The years don't matter. The time doesn't matter. It's all about the music. And I think Matt, from beginning to end, argued that the best. So that's just me. But
Cody's vote count?
I'll take
Which
both on a triple threat.
Oh,
Which
God.
means that
This is
Sandy
like
and
BS.
Cody are into the final. The question has already been predetermined. Cody did pick question number 3. So what's going to happen is I am not going to be voting in this final round. It'll be Malcolm, Caleb, and Kearns that I'll be voting.
Another chance.
So
What are you afraid of, Sandy?
Hey, Brooklyn, can I ask a question?
I have an answer.
So I know we did it on another channel, but could you possibly ask those same debate questions here tonight, since they weren't able to do it on late night?
Yeah, we'll do those off stream.
Well, no, do them on stream. Why not?
Because we're almost at 3 hours.
I was gonna
That's
say
a good
we
point.
This is a fire episode, though.
This is
running
well. I want this to be like a 3-hour spectacle because it's our 50th episode.
It is our 50th.
We'll make it
I haven't been
51.
I haven't been around for all 50, but I'm the host of the 50th. So
We made it cut at 51, so it's okay. Cool.
yeah. All right. So question number 3. The question is once
Can I
again.
switch off with Caleb?
Is
What?
it open-ended or closed?
It's open ended like they 9 times out of 10 are.
Okay, just making sure. I just need to be on the ready because it's Hulk Hogan Cena all over again.
All right. So the question
Keep
is.
complaining, Cody.
The
I will
question
give you a
is,
point.
and again, if I hear you first, you go first. What is the worst candy you could get on Halloween?
Raisins.
What is the worst candy?
All right.
Circus peanuts.
That's not a candy either.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
100% a candy.
Peanuts?
100%. Look it up. They come in bags.
Circus peanuts. Let's take a
Also
look.
been confused for packing
I'm
peanuts.
so
They're
confused.
candy and edible.
All right.
Look them
I
up.
can't pick raisins, but he can pick peanuts. That's all right.
I was gonna say it.
No, circus peanuts are not like.
It's a okay.
They're
Okay,
actually
if I could interject here,
Okay.
I did not accept raisins because they are essentially just dried grapes. There's no
They're
candy.
dried fruit.
There's no
Okay, fair
candy
enough.
process. They're not
Okay,
adding
fair
sugar. Or a marshmallow candy with a peanut flavor. That is why.
Okay. I've never seen one before,
All right.
so I
Fair
think we're
enough.
actually
I
They're
apologize.
orange and they're tasteless.
See, now that you're
Okay.
describing it, I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right,
Sandy.
I'm gonna say candy apples.
Interesting.
No.
Interesting. I did
Mine
hear
was me.
circus peanuts. Circus peanuts was the first valid answer. So Cody, you got 20 seconds.
What was his choice?
Candy apples.
Candy apples.
Now I need to know. That's actual like the candy apple dip.
Yes, you dip the
And
apple
yeah,
into the caramel.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, he's getting up. He's getting up.
There is a
But
candying
that's
process
still
you
there.
are bringing for the
That's fine.
foodies out
I'm
there
cool
for
with it.
Jessica to give some backstory. Jessica Morgan, the only other foodie that is watching this, that is in candying apples. There is a candying process. You are bringing sugar up to a certain temperature where it gets either the softball stage or the hard rock stage. There are various types of candy. It's really fun to make. But yes, Cody, 20 seconds. Tell us why circus peanuts are the worst candy to get at Halloween.
Circus peanuts are the worst thing to get on candy because they can be confused for packing peanuts that go into back boxes to ship stuff. They are so tasteless. They are hardly even marshmallow. They're very stiff. They're very bad. Candy apples is a great surprise. If you get to somebody's house that they took enough time to candy apples, this is fantastic. They're right up there with caramel apples. How can you hate that? Circus peanuts are disgusting.
Time. All right. So in 20 seconds, time begins whenever you start talking.
when you're a kid, you don't care what you get in your bag. If you get circus peanuts, they're just in there and you're going to eat them no matter what, even if it's the last thing because it's the last sugar thing that you've got. Candy apples are horrible. As soon as you bite into them, the whole freaking caramel thing comes off the apple and all you're left with is a stupid apple on a stick. So you might as well have just bought some freaking caramel and had it to eat yourself instead of ripping it off a stupid apple.
Time. All right, Cody, 15-second rebuttal time begins whenever you start talking.
I'm sorry you went to bad houses that didn't know how to properly cook candy on apples, but when you get a good one, they're fantastic. Packing peanuts can literally stop your opening your bag and eating and be like, what the hell did I just eat? Is that edible? Do you have to go talk to your parents to take you to a hospital because you just ate styrofoam? They're awful, tasteless, they're terrible. Candy apples are delicious and fantastic.
Time. All right, 15 seconds for Sandy. Time begins whenever you start talking.
Yeah, so I guess that one house that does the candied apples properly in the entire 7 billion people in the entire world, Cody ran into. But all the candy apples I had were crappy and stupid, and packing peanuts or even stupid circus peanuts sounds better than candied apples.
Time.
Fruit.
All right.
Fruit needs to be stricken from the record. It was after.
Fruit is stricken from the record. Malcolm, I'll go to you first, so you don't have to make a decision here. Based on the arguments provided, who is our winner?
This is tough because there's a very close argument. But I'd have to, because I mean, both of them talked a lot about why their own thing was the worst. But both of them didn't do a lot to defend the other one as well. To why they'd rather get. I could see Cody giving me looks, but yeah. But for me, it's just on a slight margin. Probably going to have to go Sandy on this.
Oh my God! What is this?
Wow! All right. Coho, it's going to you next.
Okay. I'm going to set the record straight here. Cody definitely did to explain why candied apples are good in his opening. And that's why I'm giving it to Cody, because Cody not only attacked candied apples or defended candied apples and attacked why his packing peanuts, whenever they are I've never heard of, are garbage, and helped me sold me why they're terrible. Whereas Sandy never really whereas was able to attack his candied apples as hard as defending packing peanuts, which he literally called the packing peanuts. So I'm giving it to Cody.
Okay, now I will filibuster until Brooklyn gets back. So here's the thing, guys. Halloween is a holiday that takes place in October, but not October 1st, not October 2nd, not October 3rd, not October 4th, not October 5th. No, not October 6th.
Nice.
Hey, who muted him?
Oh my God!
I'm sorry, that was too funny. That was too funny. I'm sorry.
Oh
That's funny.
This just in, Kale Go Ho. This is the last time you're ever gonna be on a Take 3 program. You get a lifetime mute. How you like that, buddy? Where's your doctor with that? Huh?
I don't have a lifetime mute. I have another platform entirely where people can hear me talk.
You don't.
Call multiplex.
Okay, can we find out who won? Because this is a long process.
I can't say because Brooklyn's not here. He's in. We just got a filibuster here for a little bit. So now I will tell you guys.
What do you do? Cody, what do you do?
I'll tell you guys the plot of my version of Dark Knight Rises, which I did once on a Twitch stream with Brooklyn, which you can't find anywhere. So here's the thing, guys. We start off And it's a Batman movie. So, Batman was created by, of course, Bob Kane, first release, Detective Comics number 27.
Brooklyn shows up now.
Then, of course, the
Please
character
show up.
went through many iterations. I'm just filibuster. I don't know what the fuck to do.
I'm just gonna start drinking in a second.
Oh my god. Well,
Okay,
I'm
for real though,
surprised-
Cody, are you playing like Spider-Man or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you
I was just
think?
wondering.
Uh,
I was
I'm
just
waiting
confused
30
because you
minutes
switched
till Red Dead
stations. It was just
Redemption
simple to.
What do you think?
I'm waiting till Red Dead Redemption opens up
Okay.
too.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that game has been getting insanely good reviews. Holy
Yeah, I can't wait to be on horseback and shoot a bunch of people. It's gonna be great.
And I'm gonna call them all Sandy.
I'm
I'm waiting for Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered to come out in March. And
All right, what did I miss?
So
Okay,
Best
you didn't miss
best
anything.
game
I was just
ever.
filibustering.
I muted
game
Matt
until
while he was filibustering. It was funny.
Yeah, it was really fucking bad. Okay, so
So,
now that
what-
I made Sandy laugh. That's all that matters. Make Cody
Okay,
laugh too. That's hard to do.
This was really hard because these debates, it was more like defensive debates than offensive. There wasn't really a ton of attacking the other person. There was one thing that Sandy could have said that I felt like could have won, which is the fact of like how difficult it is to carry around a candy apple after you get it at a house in your Halloween bag. It could just fuck up all your other candy. Oh my god, man, don't be like that. I sadly, as much as it freaking pains me to do, I have to go with Cody because he had the rebuttal of candy apples being good and just fucking Cody.
which means that your winner and still the newly named Late Night with Take 3 Mini Speedrun Debate Champion of the Full Metal and Multiplex fan community, something of the world, Cody Newberry.
Brooklyn just gave up on whatever it is. He's supposed to.
Well,
his
it's no
title.
longer.
rises to the top. It's the Macho
Yeah.
Man.
How were you never Macho Man for Halloween?
All right, Cody.
Don't know.
I gotta go, Cody. I gotta go to you. You have become the.
The Sam Levine. Oh,
You've become the. Yeah, you've become, I guess, a pretty good debater. This is your 7th win, I guess. How do you
8
feel?
actually, but it's okay.
8. Well, I mean, yeah.
I didn't defend it once, but it's great. Again, I know what I'm doing. But you guys have made me better at this. So I thank everybody that I compete with, because when I started this, no offense, Sandy will even say this. Sandy's not. He doesn't like debating. He does it because it's a part of the show, and he likes the show, and he actually enjoys it with people that don't bash his opinions. They just accept it. And seeing how everybody has grown to debate, it's just so much. It's so much fun to be a part of this. I'm always playing as a cocky person, but like I've lost it once already. So like if I ever lose, I hate that I lost on wrestling, because that's one that really would kill me. It's like baseball for me. But I just enjoy it. I just enjoy debating. It's always weird because I love Sandy a lot. Me and Sandy
You're always having to fight him.
We always end up squaring off, and I want Caleb, I want Kearns, I want somebody like to battle me that changes my style, because Sandy didn't know what circus peanuts were, so that was kind of hard for him to debate on that one. And I was so surprised he picked candy apples, because those are delicious. I don't know. You apparently had bad ones. I'm sorry, but they're great. Jolly Rancher covers apples. They're pretty great. But yeah, so it's fun.
Wasting a good apple.
The best time that I've ever had as champion right now is when I beat you. Because Brooklyn, beating you on sandwiches and beating you. What else did I beat you on?
Horror or no?
It's just like that. The stream dies.
No. Oh man, what was it? Because I won it, and
You won
then
the title, yeah.
no, because I lost it on
Animated
ensembles.
series?
No, I lost it on ensembles, but I won it on
Wrestling.
wrestling. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I defended the title 7 times at this point. I can pretty much retire and go off into the sunset and have a great time. But don't worry, guys. I'll be back for round 8 next week, and I will gladly take it again. That's just who it is. I actually like when I get to fight multiple times. I like the championship advantage sometimes. But it warms you up because
that's a crock of shit if I ever didn't hear it. This guy was going on, I don't like to play in the bracket format. Why can't I just be the champion and take on like the winner of these 4 losers? And I said, Cody, you're right. I'll bring on 4 other schmucks so they can battle it out and then take on you. And now that you get this, you're like, I actually like being back in the
What do you mean
working for my championship?
Like, what do you mean by
schmucks? Oh yeah, you douchebag. Yeah, now you have to answer that. But I'm so ready to see Caleb and everybody debate off stream to see who would face me in horror, because that would be interesting.
I'm not debating off stream because I'm tired.
Yes, you are.
You can't make me do anything off stream.
All right, so we have officially hit the 3-hour mark, which means that this is a good time to call it night. I want to thank everybody who has stayed on for the long haul for our very special 50th episode. I want to thank once again to Mr. William Bibbiani for coming on and talking movies and having a great time with us. Playing some games and playing press conference, and to everybody here, the usual suspects for coming on. I will start first. Actually, I'm going to go to Sandy. Sandy seems distraught, and I got to make sure Sandy is all good. Sandy, this is now like the second one.
I broke up. Yeah, I broke up. I didn't hear anything you said.
This is,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this is now the second or third time that you have unfortunately lost to Cody. How do you, do you have to go back to the drawing board to try and, come up with more debate tactics, or no?
No, Cody was exactly right. He knows I hate debating. I can't stand it. I don't like arguing with people about stuff that they like. Cody fucking loves it. This is what it flows through. It flows through his veins. Peter Parker's spider venom. That's what he does, and Cody is the best I've ever seen at it. He should be the movie battleground champion of the world. He will be at some point. I guarantee it. I just want to play and have a good time, and Malcolm's been the best sport of this whole little feud that we have, and I love Malcolm. Kearns and Coho, it doesn't matter to me, man. It's just a fun time. I like the entertainment value from it. Cody deserves to be champion, but one of these days I'm going to surprise him. I'm going to come and be all serious and it'll be done, and he'll lose the championship, and I'll be able to sling it back on my shoulder again. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right. So now this is a good time to call it a night. We'll probably have a little after talk. But to our champion, Cody Newberry, where can people get to the world find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Cody Newberry. You can find me on Wednesdays sometimes, unless this is a really weird time. It's baseball season. It's World Series, so I'm all up in my feelings. But you can normally find me on Wednesdays with Watch Along. It will return. It will be departed. It will not be timeless, because I don't know what the hell that was. But Matt, I appreciate Matt and Malcolm for filling in for me. That was a great time. I just don't know the show, so I can't really say much about it. I literally watched it, but I have no idea. You can find me on Sundays as the old man in the corner, sometime on Rankum, yelling at people about their stupid choices. And you can find me on Full Metal Geek. I help run over there now, but you can find me on my favorite spot to be every week. I absolutely have fallen in love with this show. This is my favorite place to be on the internet. This is my favorite group of people to come in and talk movies and talk about stuff with. So you can find me here every Thursday for Late Night with Take 30.
Yeah, because he kicks our ass all the time.
All right. To the producer, the man behind the scenes, the quiet Peter Jackson type, Malcolm Lay. Where can the cool kids in the world find you?
You can find me on Tape 3 Productions as a host. My show Rankum. We're in the middle of the Halloween episodes, and next week we're doing Goosebump books. And you can also find me competing on Full Metal and Multiplex. You can also find me helping Sandy schedule matches for Full Metal singles and teams as well. We've blocked out all the matches to the end of the year, so we've got a lot of good ones coming up. And you can also find me on Twitter, Letterboxd, and Stardust at Melkor.
Shit, I saw Sandy laughing, and then I burst out laughing. Sandy, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
Everybody can find me on Facebook and Twitter at srobinson1799. You can see me every Saturday with my partner Matt Kearns and our show Rhyme and Reason, where we talk about everything that you guys should like but don't. You guys can see me here, Take 3, almost every single week on late night, which is one of my favorite places to be. And finally, and not at all least, over at Full Metal Trivia, we just launched our new brand. We're doing content every single day of the week. Please go over there. You want to play in a match, play in Full Metal Classic, and then you might get into the singles division. You want a teammate, come and talk to us. We'll put you in the team division. You like Geek, new season will be starting up in January, so come and check that out. But that's it, everybody. Thanks so much.
Curds before I sneeze.
Okay. I guess I have to do this really fast. No, you guys, as always, can find me at Curtains_Mafia on Twitter, Matt1611 on YouTube, and right here as the co-host of Rhyme and Reason with Sandy Robinson. You can also find me on the Summit pretty much every week talking about the Schmoedown. You can also find me whenever Rob and Cody decide they have better things to do. Try to scrounge a watch along in like 5 minutes together, and the results are what they were yesterday. You also pretty much every Thursday you can find me here. I love shitting on Cody because it's become more than even debating. I just love just crapping on Cody because he is a worthy champ, and I'm just a shitty bridesmaid. Yeah, that's right. Fuck me.
And we broke curds. Last but definitely not least, Kel Coho, where can the cool kids of the world find you?
I have it written down here, but I'm still going to do it. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Caleb Coho. That is KALEBKOH. You can find me on YouTube, Caleb Coho, where I do music, Coho Productions, where I do film. And on both channels right now, my movie Chick Part 2 is out right now. You can watch that for free on YouTube. What's not free is my album Shoot for Teams by The Forks, which is on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you consume your digital music. And every week, you can find me on Multiplex Entertainment, hosting Fandom Fight every Friday, Nerdgasm every Saturday, Multiplex Fantasy Football every Wednesday, and a new show on Thursdays with Jake Marangoni, which we'll be announcing in 1 week, and we'll be debuting the first episode in 2 weeks on Thursday, so check that out. And you can find me competing in Full Metal Geek. I have my first match soon against Jen Kemp, and I can't wait for you guys to see me break everyone's brackets and win the Full Metal Geek title, because apparently I can't win my own from Robert, so.
All right, and last but definitely not least, I am the sneezing Black Lantern, Brooklyn Dale. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the real BK10, the numbers and the letters, and you can find me right here at Take 3 Productions, running not one but 2 shows. On Mondays, you can find me at Jukebox Trivia, where we do various trivia debates and playlists. Be sure to check us out this upcoming Monday, where we'll be doing the Queen playlist, our favorite songs. Boy, that one's going to be intense. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out the championship match we had last Monday. Luca Hopefeld battle taking on Matthew Rosa in probably top 3 matches of ever for me. And right here, I'd like to take 3. Next week, November the 1st, our theme is going to be favorite mustached movie characters with the beginning of Movember. So. With the start of November, I am going to try and grow a mustache. The question is how long until my wife tells me I have to shave. The correct answer is Ron Burgundy, but that is for next week on Late Night with Take 3. That is Cody, that is Kearns, that is Coho, that is Sandy, that is Malcolm. I am the Black Lantern, Brooklyn Vale. Cheers, guys, and as always, drive safely.
Drive unsafe.